Step right up to the HCS Salt Lake City Halo Major, hosted by Spacestation. We got games, we got prizes, we got something for everyone.
Can we ride that Ferris wheel?
What Ferris wheel?
The one right behind.
So you want to challenge your friends, but you're stuck in silver? Don't worry, we got more than one way to play here. Maybe some good old-fashioned warthog racing could tickle your fancy. We got ancient relics from a time long ago, and you? Hey, no sprinting near the Halo 3 tourney. Take all that hoopla to the Halo 5 and Halo Infinite tournaments.
Sorry, I was late for registration.
Anyways, the HCS side events are open to all attendees. Registration will take place on site. Don't be late. And get this, we even have Halo's strongest man.
Huh?
Brain and Brawn, how do you do it?
Stay hydrated, get some sunlight, go to the gym, and don't miss.
Wow, Stellar is truly built different. Don't miss your chance to watch him play live. Can't touch grass with us in person? Not to worry, we have drops available for everyone who tunes in, no matter your location. So come on down to the HCS Salt Lake City Major, where sporting can be a kid again. Grab your tickets now.
Unlocked, take one, mark.
When you play someone and you know they're good, it's kind of annoying because you're like, wait, I don't know this guy, and he's like shitting on me. You're like looking at his account, he's like, he's not even a Smurf.
Legend with the double.
Make it free.
Oh, Legend is him.
The HCS Spacestation Gaming Salt Lake City Major is presented by AMD and Player X.
a semi-final we were certainly hoping for. The colors reign supreme once again. Historic red and green across the stage. FaZe versus Optic. We wouldn't have it any other way. Joining me on the desk to talk all about it, I have Tony, I have Golden Boy, and Walshy. Gents, whew. Are you ready for this, Tony? Because my goodness me, my heart is pounding. I know how high these stakes are for both of these teams. Winner side of things for both Titans is so unbelievably important for momentum and not only mentality as well. This is a big, big game, sir.
It really is. This is a matchup that lots of times you expect to see in the winners bracket finals. Lots of times you expect to see it in a grand finals, but to see it this early to determine who gets that advantage going into the winners finals, you got one of the most consistent teams in the league, if not the most consistent in Optic, and then maybe the iciest team in the league in FaZe going at it. Man, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely incredible. I'm also hoping for a better showing than last time between both of these, because I got to say, in Atlanta, it wasn't so great for FaZe. Things were looking pretty Optic dominant in terms of the series. Yes, things got close as well during the actual physical games of the series, but did not go the distance. Golden Boy, this time around, are you expecting a little bit more out of both of our teams?
Well, I think, reflecting on Optic Gaming, the big win that they were able to pull off against SSG definitely gives them that confidence to be able to march forward in this bracket. As for FaZe Clan, right, I think this is a squad that always expects absolute excellence at all times, right? So that they were looking at that ATL event, and I remember talking to PJ briefly about it, and he said to me, yeah, no, ATL didn't happen. so that's basically how they're viewing it, and honestly, that's kind of how they're playing. It feels like ATL didn't happen. That being said, though, they got to be a little bit more efficient in the objective. That's going to be the thing I'm looking out for, and for Optic side, I just want to continue to see that cool, calm, collected play that we've been getting from them throughout the entirety of the tournament so far.
That's going to be the big thing. That's so key, especially on the FaZe side of things. Let's go to the red side of the stage first. Walshy FaZe, they've been outslaying every single opponent so far this tournament, to the point where we're having highlight reels, montages made. Although, do you want a montage and a clip on a map that you lose? I don't know about that, but I certainly wouldn't. And I think that's the issue, right? It's the efficiency. You are going to get ripped apart if you are not efficient. No matter how many times you're putting someone in that death screen, it's just not going to work for you. So in terms of FaZe right now, in terms of cleaning things up, do you want to see more discipline from this squad?
I want to see the outslaying with the efficiency like you talked about. You can't have these games where someone like Royal 2 is going positive 20 and then they're losing on live fire. Yeah. You just can't have that happen. And we've been seeing different players from FaZe pop off, but we haven't seen them all kind of working as this well-oiled machine when someone's slaying really hot and someone's also on the objective at the exact same time. Yeah, and I think something that was kind of prevalent in Atlanta was the fact that we weren't seeing any individual kind of superstardom occurring at all. We were relying heavily on teamwork to try and keep them alive in certain series. And this time it's almost the opposite. Although they're getting the job done, they got the dub. Having both together would be absolutely massive for this team. Do you see them doing this against Optic?
It's going to be difficult. I'll be honest. The way that Formal has been playing, it absolutely lights out, right? It's going to be a big problem for FaZe to have to deal with. And really, I look at the matchups that we had previously, and dude, Optic beat SSG, the winner, or not the winner, but the favorite of this competition, of this tournament. And on the other side, FaZe had a really close game against ITB, and that's not to take anything away from Into the Breach, right? Great team, solid players, of course. We've been following them for years, but when I look at, who Optic beat to get to this point versus who FaZe beat to get to this point, and seeing the results being nearly identical, I gotta say, I'm feeling good for Optic here.
And that's where it really talk about, a team like Optic Gaming, very consistent as far as map pools. They have a very wide one, very little weaknesses when it comes to their map pool combination. But when it comes to FaZe, I call them the iciest team. Right now, they're 5-0 when it comes to Game 5. So when you get to those Game 5s, you're looking good, but you have to consistently get there, and right now, FaZe have it.
Yeah, indeed they do. And you're looking right now at the KD leaderboard currently here at Salt Lake City. Looking at Royal 2 right at the top there. The General Snakebite underneath on number 3rd, 1.25 for him. And then Formal tucked nicely there in number 4th. And he was actually on 5th yesterday. So he's crawling up that leaderboard himself. Despite some of the kind of inconsistencies we saw from Optic on day 1, Formal remains supreme there. Cycle also number 2 spot. And Breaking Shot also remains on the board too, which I absolutely love to see as well. But yeah, just coming back to the conversation, I think, especially about Optic and how they've been performing and the comparison between some of the matchups that we've seen from both of these teams today, like you said, GB, the ITB closeness, that Game 5, although having the ice, still too close for comfort, I think, in terms of the comparison of teams here. And Optic Gaming, managing to edge Spacestation Gaming out was absolutely incredible, especially when you consider the day that they had yesterday in pool play and some of the things that they had to kind of push through here. When it comes to the two teams, though, I do think that this series layout is pretty even keel. I would honestly say in terms of the map counts, 20 and 10 for Optic Gaming, 12 and 9 for FaZe. We're seeing that Game 5 Aquarius Slayer go in the favor of Optic with a 6-2, so they played it quite a lot. But in terms of FaZe, they're 3 and 3 for this. But we know that they have the ice in those Game 5s. What are you making of this breakdown in terms of this series layout and how both fare right now?
Well, when looking at that game number 1, which actually we're looking at on screen right now, I kind of lended a lot more towards Optic, and not because of how good they are in Strongholds, which, by the way, they're very good. The thing is right now is they're probably the best recharge team in the entire league, a 20-6 record across the entire year on recharge. So not only are you good at Strongholds, but you are incredible on recharge, and guess what? That is Game 1.
It certainly is Game 1 indeed. And just seeing there as well with the Strongholds breakdown, the kind of average kills, the margins, and heavily, again, gunny for FaZe. It is a serious gunny for them. It's just putting the pieces together, making sure you are putting the work in where you need to. And, you know, it's difficult. It can be difficult. They're a Slay-heavy team. They brought Renegade on for a reason, to get those kills. And it's just now piecing the puzzle together for FaZe. The last time they matched up, Optic got the better of them, and it's going to be difficult. Mentally, though, Walshy, do you see them getting over that hurdle? Do you see FaZe being able to take down Optic, knowing that they're one of their biggest opponents all season long?
Absolutely. I mean, when you think of who is FaZe studying when they come to these events, they're looking at Space Station, they're looking at Optic, they're looking at Shopify, they're looking at those few squads to see what little things they can pick apart if and when they're making counter strats. It's against these rosters. The rest of the teams, let's be real, they are not studying them coming to the events. They're working on their own game plan. They're saying, doesn't matter who we go against, we can play this way and we're going to win.
Yeah. When I'm looking at that FaZe roster and I'm looking at this series layout, you know, the one thing I'm thinking of is your efficiency is going to be tested. Not only are Optic the most efficient team in the league, they don't even need to outslay you, to out-objective you, but on top of that, you need to get through either Game 1, Game 2, or Game 3 with the win, because when it comes to Game 4, you're the #1 team as far as King of the Hill. I'm confident when it goes to Game number 4. You're undefeated when it comes to Game 5. But my thing is where your efficiency is going to be tested is either Game 1 or Game 3, because you have to get to that Game 4. You have to get to that Game 5. And then from there, I give FaZe the advantage, but Optic, you still got to get through those first 3 games.
Yeah, we talked about it before in the SSG game, how a few of those maps, when they played out in their favor, right? Like the Forbidden CTF, for example, like those. What I think is so fascinating about this team, though, is that with Optic Gaming, they have this way where even when, as you had mentioned, that they're not really out there outslaying, which they totally can, what has been really cool to see from them is that even when they're in a position where they're fighting, you know, from behind, they are never out of it, not by a long shot. And that was reflected in a lot of those Slayers. It was reflected in that whole series against SSG, because they had the crowd behind them. There was so much happening right there. And then Optic, just in those clutch moments there, show that experience, show why they are one of the greatest teams, and why we call these guys the big 3, SSG, Optic, and FaZe Clan.
Yeah, and I think part of that, it comes down to the fact that it's just not necessary to have to overslay. They are able to read plays very, very well, make decisions on the fly, and not have to be absolutely picture perfect to dip a toe into the objective or to hold the ball for an extended period of time. And I think that's something that we're seeing from FaZe kind of form a little bit, where they're going back to that pattern of perfection. Optic Gaming, they are perfect in their own right, but they're perfect as a team. Their teamwork is so good, and it's really, really difficult to break. We're seeing 2 very different teams go head-to-head often, and it really is a battle. You never quite know what's going to occur on that main stage, which is incredible. And folks, just to let you know, if you're thinking, oh, they're rambling on way too much, what is happening right now? Where is the game? Push the button, Lottie, under the desk.
Yeah, push the button, Lottie.
Well, I can't, because we're just waiting for things to get set up so that everything is perfect for this series. But while I've got you, here is our last chance qualifier for the Halo World Championships. Alpha Esports, they managed to get things done 3-0 against Chosen Legacy. Dark Inside, you'll find them at Worlds as well, because 3-0 against Ascending Baseline will mean that they're going to go to Seattle as well. And now we're waiting to find out what Ascend Baseline can do against SWAT and Eclipse against Mindfreak as well. But great to see global representation as well, Tony, because, you know, these teams, it's everything to them. This is you know, what Salt Lake City has been for a lot of these teams is coming in and making sure they got that job done and get to Worlds.
Yeah, it's actually incredible that we're actually having that last chance qualifier little tournament there. It's like, hey, look, one best of 5 series, do or die. Do you want to make it to Worlds or not? It's like kind of, no matter what's happened all up until the season, everything is on one best of 5 series. You literally have your own destiny in your own hands. I think that's actually incredible. I love this format.
Yeah. I was really stoked for Alpha. I mean, they're going to be qualifying out, and as well as Dark Inside too. I mean, you know, the team that's just been grinding through that open bracket. But man, Alpha is just so fun to watch, and I'm so stoked for them going into Washington. I really do think that with even more time to just continue to build, continue to scrim, continue to get that experience, it's going to be a really threatening team out there, so you can't take them lightly because they've already surprised a lot of people here in SLC.
Indeed, another team that qualified for Worlds, Native Gaming. Thank goodness me, because you know, following their kind of journey as well, and how much this means to them, the work put in. We kind of talked about that yesterday as well. GB Walshy. I mean, you know, they deserve it. I think at this point in time, the effort they put in, the grind, they deserve to be at Worlds. I'm so glad they managed to get that done. I think they're probably a little bit more relieved now. I think they're a little bit more comfortable. But yeah, I think it's going to be a long road for Native in terms of the competition that they're going to be facing, especially in Worlds. But Walshy, do you think that they could make a decent run there?
I mean, we've seen miraculous runs at Worlds before. Nothing says it can't happen here. But like you said, they have to work on a few main things.
Yeah.
If they keep playing the way they are, their average or their below average play just isn't enough to make a deep run. They can't just rely on being on fire every single time to make a deep run.
Well, I have been told we are pretty much getting ready to go. Let's take a quick peek at the series layout while we make sure everything is set on the main stage. But as we were talking before, Optic Gaming versus FaZe Clan, our winners semi-finals, best of 5s. This is where we're starting. Strongholds recharge, then we're heading over to Slayer on Solitude. I'm very excited to see these first 2 maps. This will indicate how this series is going to go for both of these teams. Who's got it? Red or green? Golden Boy and Walshy, it's over to you.
All right, thank you so much, Lottie and Tony, for that one, folks. Here we go, Optic versus FaZe. And I know, what time is it? We got 8 o'clock, it's still early. Make some noise, let's get ready. Because we're gonna get ourselves a banger here between 2 teams that have met each other time and time and time again. And this time around, well, feels like a different situation. I don't know why. This one feels a little, because like both teams are in different places than what they were before.
This tournament just felt odd.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here. With the amount of upsets, with the amount of teams that came in looking strong but falling short in pools, but then bouncing back like we saw between Optic and SSG. I don't know how to predict this one anymore. All predictions out the window. But as time shows us, we are in for a good match regardless. It's going to be Optic versus FaZe Clan, and Formal taken out immediately, followed by Frosty.
Yeah, hot start there. Were they able to pick up the camo is actually what I'm wondering, but
Camo was burned by Frosty.
Camo was burned, okay. So they do manage to get that pickup, and not much use out of it there, though. Dead Zone now looking to cause some problems over here. Optic in the red, FaZe Clan in the blue. And if you are a FaZe fan, I know that's going to be a little weird to get used to there, considering this team's always in red. But it was a different tournament coming out of Atlanta. But we're also seeing FaZe now trying to pick up the pieces here to go up against it. Oh, my word.
Look at that movement by Renegade, just doing that last-second clamber over at the catwalk, almost pulling a little crazy play there, but eventually taken down. And now we're going to see some points put on the board here for FaZe Clan as they have the AB setup.
Frosty over here toward Whirl. Now, they don't know that there's going to be one player located down low. They might have gotten a call out or two, but nothing really is there to indicate that anyone's going to be there.
Oh, just seeing that nade, toss the nades at the double stacks.
That's good reaction time, man. To just be able to see that. He was so focused on that player toward the plat, and then he sees that grenade come out. He's like, wait a minute.
That's one thing that you'll continually notice from the higher level players and the higher teams is very rarely are they just throwing nades to start the engagement. They're throwing nades to end an engagement. Once somebody is weak, they're not usually doing it to create the opportunity. And right there is a perfect example of why, because that gave away his position. Instead, he could get hit by that grenade at double stacks when his position was completely hidden from FaZe.
Now, as we look forward here, you had an attempted flip, and now they're going to go back into it here, Optic Gaming, and they will be able to make B theirs. So B and C control for Optic. FaZe now needing to respond. Renegade's going to be tucked away inside of the elevator here, waiting to see if there's a chance for him to push. Going to try and coordinate here with World 2. Got one player toward the grapple shot, so those are going to be some clean shots now.
Yeah, Campbell coming up.
Yeah, and that Frosty was in a position to be able to do that, or to be able to fight for it. Ended up dying in that exchange there. That's going to be 4 down for FaZe Clan. That's doom and destruction, and Optic Gaming get themselves a camo.
And look at this, Frosty trying to take out Formal. Formal eventually slips away. But I also think Trippy's spot was hidden there because I thought Frosty was confused and thought that Formal was the only one inside that B hill. And Trippy jumped on up towards top gold, got that kill, got that trade out, and now we see that temporary trip cap there for Optic Gaming.
That was a really funny moment where you hear the grapple shot, you hear it connect with the shock rifle, and then Formal goes to grab it. He's like, wait a minute, where did it go? It was just here. Thankfully, it was delivered to him. So all's well that ends well, right? But 53-43. Close game here at the start, which is what we've come to expect between Optic and FaZe. A C push, or excuse me, an A push now happening. Royal 2's making himself a difficult target. He can't quite find the mark on that one. Formal, and that is going to come with a flip, but he will have some help there, and Royal 2 will not be alive long enough to be able to contribute a meaningful amount of score to the board there.
Great patience there by Formal as well, realizing that he can't just charge up those stairs and win that disadvantageous fight against Royal 2. Instead, he's just going to try to poke a few shots from Whirlpool and let his teammate come in to finish the job.
And Formal again is going to have to hear that hill being captured there. The Strongholds going to the side of FaZe Clan as well as flipping A. Now they're going to go ahead and set their sights and focus here to the back side by Pipes. See if anyone's going to be pushing through this one. They do have this shock rifle. It's been changing hands quite a bit since it spawned up. But this is continuing to be a close one here. Now, where is the opening? Who's going to be the one to be the crack in the wall that's going to fall apart? Oh, nice shot there from Royal 2 to push that player back. That's going to be Lucid. He's going to be dealing with a little bit of tension on the right side, too, because you see Dead Zone now making his way in, trying to push forward. And just as I say that, too, they ended up getting a massive pick there to create the flip. So they successfully do so, Dave.
Well, one thing also to take in solace here is that we were worried about FaZe's objective efficiency.
Yeah.
Generally not as worried about it on something like Strongholds because they're able to slay or trade and be in fine position. But right now they're in a position where Optic were slightly outslain when FaZe were keeping up with them. So that usually bodes well. If FaZe are able to keep up in slays or go ahead and slays at this pace, they're going to be just fine.
Yeah, and as we continue to harp on the fact that get a lot of kills is good. Like that's what you want to do. But in the instance, you got to be able to capitalize on those opportunities as they're presented, and FaZe knows that better than anyone else here. Now an attempted trip cap coming through for FaZe Clan. Can they successfully accomplish this? Yes, they can, and they will. Lucid taking a few shots there. Snakebite's going to be there for the pickup, so he doesn't have to worry about that. Royal 2 does. So he gets away from the action, and now they're going to set their attention over towards C. 3 players for Optic Gaming lingering about. The flip comes through. Trip cap for the time being, though, netted them a decent amount of points, but they still have A and B control.
And look at that, just wisely backing down from long haul. Usually when teams commit towards there, they would be fighting from Sneaky and long haul till the death, but some grenade must have hit over at Sneaky and backed down those players. So Royal 2, instead of just trying to be a hero and ego it over at C-Plat, he backs down his teammate and holds the 2-cap setup.
Brilliant work, by the way, there from Optic to keep their teammate alive in a situation that could have very well gone south for them. Renegade's got a lot of work ahead of him, and no shots were going across there, so he's going to have to just fight him straight up. He's going to have to fight the next guy straight up as well. Push coming in from the yellow side. Royal 2 cannot stand tall there, but his teammate had his back. So Snakebite, the general, what does he look to do here? Is he's going to hold this position in the cross? And kudos to Renegade, by the way, for holding that area down for such a long time and has netted FaZe so many points.
Yeah, but here comes the reverse trip cap. A and B being captured by Optic. Let's see how long they can hold this one for. Unfortunately, FaZe are stuck in pipes, and B is not a good stronghold to go for during a trip cap scenario. Instead, they're trying to dive on it. This could be disastrous.
They go for the flip, and they successfully accomplish that. And off screen, you saw Frosty pick up that camo. One player toward A. This is an opportunity now to move forward and just force the issue here toward A side. And you saw that grenade as well. So they're anticipating a push coming in from World, but they're not able to flip that. Frosty was waiting for someone to come up, but instead he's actually going to play this one real
sneakily. He's outnumbered. He does not want to challenge that right on at A elevator. Instead, he wants to keep this B. B is the most difficult stronghold to get a hold of. So they don't want to lose that after they were able to somehow miraculously get that from pipes.
Yeah.
That still blows my mind that they were able to dive into B and get control of camo when they didn't have control of the entire map.
Yeah, that was a Herculean effort there by FaZe Clan. Formal now, though, looking to take down Snakebite across field, which he successfully does so. The B flip coming in now. Optic Gaming getting back on the board here. It's a close matchup. Formal's got himself a shock rifle again, and he's able to squeak his way out of there into yellow pipes.
Yeah, let's see where he decides to play this one. They know the push is going to be coming towards elevator. When is it going to be? And now is the time. Royal 2 at the bomb elevator. Can his teammate clean this up? And here comes more players all the way through Needler and Whirl.
Big
Good
kills.
shots and damage coming out of Formal, racking up 2 assists, making a 3rd kill right there, and that's 3/4 of FaZe Clan out of there.
Not what you want to see if you're the members of FaZe when things look like they could have been going pretty well for you. You start to crumble, and Optic Gaming is taking over the lead here. FaZe Clan had a real hot start. That trip cap gave them so many points, and they were able to continue to hold B and C control too. But now, things have just gotten a little bit worse here, but not out of the hot seat quite yet, though. Flip coming in. Nope, no, not quite yet. You have a little bit of progress left there on B. I don't think anyone's really in a position to try and contest that. Renegade's in a fight in the distance. He ends up losing that battle. That's going to be a trade, though, and they're actually going for it.
I like this play. Low numbers on the map. Is a 2-on-2 scenario. Snakefight can isolate a 1v1 and grab time in that center stronghold, so that's a great play. Now, if it was like a 4-on-4 scenario, that's not as good to give up that first death, but since there were fewer players on the map, Snakefight knew he could jump in there and finish up that stronghold.
Intelligent plays there from FaZe, but it's not going to last very long because Optic Gaming get control again, and now they're going to go for another trip cap. Camo's going to assist them in that one. They have no idea where Formal's going to be located, so they'll gladly take control of this. And now they cross the 200-point threshold here for Optic Gaming. If you're FaZe Clan, you got to put the pedal to the metal here and now, and you cannot let Optic run away with this one.
Yeah, and that was a huge stop by Lucid to get Renegade out of there, but damage is still being done. FaZe captures C. FaZe captures B. They stopped the bleeding just as soon as that trip cap started. You got to wonder if Optic overextended during that trip cap.
Yeah, potentially, but they are okay right now because they got A and B control, and this is all they need in order for them to win this. FaZe Clan have struggled to be able to make moves, and Optic Gaming have benefited greatly as a result of that. Crossing now 230, 20 points left here for Optic Gaming to secure this win. And FaZe Clan, they had such a great mid game, but toward that late game, things have really started to fall apart here.
That first pick is so huge, getting that kill onto Royal 2. And look at that, that's gonna be 2 down. FaZe Clan have 1 push, and they gotta do it right now before Optic closes it out, and that's gonna be it. Game number 1 going for Optic Gaming.
And a clean one, too, at that. Once they were able to establish a little bit of separation between themselves and FaZe, at that point, they ran away with it. And we were commending FaZe for their objective efficiency, or excuse me, their slaying efficiency. This time around, it was all Optic, 58-44 total. So you got to be quite satisfied with yourself there if you're a Greenwall fan. And Optic Gaming put one on the board right away, strike first here in this semifinal game.
Yeah, and when we critique FaZe on the overslaying, we're not saying don't outslay Optic. We're just saying you can't overslay and not do the objective. If they get in a position where they're getting outslayed by Optic in objective games, they are in pure trouble. So maybe go back to the roots, get those slaves on the board, get some comfortability going for them.
Yeah, they're going to need to do it and do it fast. Also do want to once again commend Dead Zone. I feel like every time I'm casting him, he's been actually playing incredibly well. So 18 kills for him in this one, certainly contributing a fair amount to the success here of Optic Gaming, who have secured themselves that first map win. And there were some great decision-making moments there, from really both sides. But I think what really sticks with me here is just that Optic Gaming, whenever they were in a position where they were pressed or they felt like they didn't really have an opening, they waited, and then they would make that play happen. They would go for the push. They would allow FaZe to maybe overextend. They might even overextend sometimes, but they would do so with the idea that they have a fallback plan, and that fallback plan worked out for them greatly, especially when they had that trip cap, and we were concerned, oh, did Optic do a little bit too much here? No, not at all. Instead, it ended up being a wonderfully played first map for Optic. That late game hold was a thing of beauty, and now we get ready for Solitude Slayer here, Dave.
Solitude Slayer up next, like you said. When we heard Tony talking about these matchups, he said that FaZe need to win one of these first 3. Bring it to game 4, bring it to game 5.
Yeah.
Solitude's gonna be an important one for them.
Yeah, this is the one that I'm really looking at.
They got outslayed in objective. You gotta almost assume that there's a chance that once again, Optic might outslay FaZe in game number 3 during the objective. Now, number 2, right here in a team slayer, they get to dictate the pace, go as fast or as slow as they'd like.
Yeah, they have a 73.3% win percentage on Slayer FaZe. Meanwhile, and that's of course for the whole season, 59% win rate for Optic Gaming. So statistically, coming into this one, FaZe a little bit better, but as we've seen before with Optic Gaming, whenever you think that you have them, backs against the ropes, maybe one more hit, you knock them out.
Also, just the amount of records, like how many games they have in throughout this year, it shows that, yeah, Optics played the most games out of anyone on the circuit, getting to second place every single event. Just every single time. And also how stiff a competition they have to play.
Yeah, they really
playing
do.
the teams in grand finals, they're playing teams in winners bracket finals, they're playing teams at every step of the way that are tough.
Yeah, but I am very happy to see this bounce back from Optic Gaming after a really rocky start on Friday. FaZe Clan, they actually had the opposite. They had a lovely Friday. They were dominating, playing an incredible Halo. But Optic Gaming on the other side, they were a little bit in shambles. So to see this turnaround in such a short amount of time is a commendable attribute to this Optic Gaming roster. But now we get ready for Solitude Slayer, Map 2. Shock Rifle's going to play a big focus here and look for Formal, look for Snakebite, or mostly Renegade, going after that Shock Rifle at a moment's notice. And here we go.
That starter grenade there from Lucid, throwing it all the way towards Poster Stairs. Look at this, Lucid versus Frosty over at Snipe. Both getting each other in one shot. Who's going to challenge and win?
That's going to be
Lucid.
Yeah, Lucy gets the dub there. And on top of that, too, you end up getting a Shock Rifle and a camo. So all the goodies are going to be the side of Optic Gaming. See what they could do with this here as players are going to be spawning up ahead here, and Trippy's got eyes.
Trippy's calling that out real quick, too. He says, spawned over loop. How are we pushing on this? Trippy unfortunately misses those shots. Are they going to charge and make this fight? But it looks like Renegade gets the first pick onto Dead Zone. Here comes the charge, and that's going to be Trippy traded out. Not the amount of value he wanted out of that camo Shock Rifle.
Yeah. And I think in those situations, too, I would have preferred him to just not pick up the Shock Rifle in that instance and maybe dish that over to somebody else, especially when you have that camo. But, you know, he saw an opportunity to make a play and he missed a shot. Had he not missed a shot, maybe it would have been a little bit of a different situation.
That's the whole thing, is it's, you know, it's all or nothing sort of with that Shock Rifle. You need to go for that headshot, and the fact that he just straight up missed there, it happens.
Yeah.
We'd be, like you said, we'd be talking a whole different story there if he hits that headshot and all of a sudden they get the spawn trap over at Driveway and over towards Loop, but just didn't happen that way. That's what happens at this highest level of Halo. You miss one shot, you get severely punished for it.
Indeed you do. Now, see two members of Optic Gaming maybe looking to posture themselves over toward that snipe side, but they're pinned. They're pinned by the truck and they can't really get out of there. But they're waiting for that opportunity. You can see Formal waiting in the wings, but he's not going to be long for this world. He was one shot. He gets headshotted right out of the gate there.
Look at that spawn awareness by Royal, too.
Yeah, that was kind of freaky.
All trapped over at Hotel and Snipe side, and realizing that they were putting so much pressure that the next logical spawn set is over near Yard.
Clean, calm shots from World 2. Feel like I've been commentating him for years doing the same exact thing. Sends that nade right back and return that one to Descender. And that's 7 kills for Royal 2 here, man. He is playing phenomenally.
Yeah, he's on a 6-kill spree right now. Make that a 7-kill spree. This guy is unstoppable, helping lead FaZe to this victory right now.
And they need something to take them to the promised land here, and what better than Royal 2 popping off in these critical situations. Frosty anticipating some kind of push. That's not going to come through here, not quite, but there is going to be a couple players located right in front of him, so won't be long for this world in that instance. Now, though, you can see two members of FaZe Clan actually pinned over toward Blue. Renegade able to get that kill, and I got 2 more guys by the Snipe side, so they're going to have to dip out of this.
Spawners there over at the Snipe side, so I think that was a situation where Dead Zone was hoping to flank over and help at market, but just not knowing where the other players are at, you don't want to just sprint across the map and make yourself a free kill.
FaZe Clan up by 3 presently. Shock Rifle coming up in a few seconds here. I believe Frosty does get possession of that. Looking to put this one to good use here.
I like this play too. Since the game slowed down so much, you don't want to overstep. They're going to be watching for any lower flanks, but right there, you're not expecting Renegade to full-on flank you when you have the element of surprise.
And Renegade has a habit of doing the unexpected. I would definitely say, oh, big hit there, but Frosty's going to back away, and so is Formal. But Formal actually ends up running into the hands of Royal 2 in that exchange. Now it's going to be 2 players down here, and it's just going to try and burn this clip out. Okay, I'll take that one. If you're Frosty, no player around the corner. It doesn't quite land those shots, but he's got Royal 2 there to help him out. At least he gets 1 out of it, but it is going to be a trade.
Get the trade there, but for how strong of a start we have from Royal 2, this is not what you'd like to see here for FaZe. Yes, they have the lead right now, But Royal 2 going 10-3. Snakebite not able to get any of the finishes on any of his kills right now. Instead, he's being the front man. He's the one that's charging out, trying to create opportunities for all these players to get opportunity, or to get a opening and push through. But every single time, Snakebite's been getting shut down. At some point, you have to wonder, does he have to reel it back? Or what does Space have to do different?
And it does feel like that's what he's doing here. And I think the Commando might actually be a good pickup for him in this instance, because anyone pushes through that room there, they're going to more than likely slide through it, and they'll have to commit to that slide, so then Snakebite can just pepper them with those Commando shots. Off screen, though, you're starting to see that push come through from the Cafe, right? You got Formal as well as Trippy lingering about there. Watch out for Lucid. He's in a bit of a cheeky position, but actually ends up getting hit with a back whack there, courtesy of Lucid. Oh, sorry, of Royal 2.
Yeah, and Royal 2 pushed on through the market. Seems like Snakebite's a little too far from the action. Now pushing on in, knowing that players are weak at a Cafe. And just his luck gets stuck right there.
Hey, you hate to see it, man. When you're looking for that first kill, you want to try and just, you know, get things going, right? Get that energy in this game, but Snakebite's been struggling to be able to find it. But it's all right, though, because his team has been picking up those kills. They've been having his back, and that is exactly what you want to see. Why Renegade is on this team.
Yeah, that's the most important part, though, is I've always been a big proponent, even if your individual stats aren't shining that well, you need to keep playing the way that you're playing if your team is winning. And Snakebite, he can't just sit back and hide. He still needs to get right in that action, still needs to create these opportunities for his teammates to take advantage of, because his team's still up by 6. He's doing something right, even though it's not showing in his kill column.
And look at where the entirety of Optic pinned in yard. Unable to get out of this one. Here comes Royal 2. Formal, well, thought he was trying to make this jump happen, but he knew that as soon as he clambered up there, he was going to be met by a couple bullets from the bandits of FaZe. New camo's going to be coming up in a moment here, too. Optic have been doing a good job of getting the camos, but they haven't been doing a good job of keeping those camos and utilizing them. Last time, Dead Zone picked it up, ended up getting burned immediately by the players by posters.
Yeah, Renegade just out in no man's land here. Bottom center, somehow still living, though. Eventually taken out by Lucid and Dead Zone. Not sure what happened with the camo, because I know Renegade was up there. It's still up in top center. 4-kill lead here for FaZe, make it 5. But now we have shock rifle camo in the hands of Formal. Let's see what this man can do.
Oh, yeah, he could put this to work. He's going to play this slowly, right? He's not going to try and chase anything sillily or silly pushes. It's going to be a little bit more methodical. Time those shots. But the thing is that Renegade had the beat on him, and that was always going to be a difficult battle to win there. Renegade gets possession of that shock rifle again, and FaZe continue their lead. 6 kills presently.
Not what you wanted to see there from Foremost. That first kill was great. Unfortunately, gets picked off before he can make anything else happen. And this is just a situation where Renegade and Royal 2 are taking over in this game.
5 minutes remaining.
You hear the time ticking in. Formal with a creep around the corner looking to crouch that. Does he tag him in the booty? Yes, he does. Looking for another one. Oh, the dang wall blocked it. But hey, good attempt there by Renegade.
Look at Renegade feeling himself. He has shock rifle. He can sit back and just try to use that distance advantage. Instead, he's flying out into the action. He wants to get up close and personal. He wants to get as many engagements as possible with how he's playing and how he's shooting.
Renegade looking to play his life here, but does not work out for him in that exchange. Optic Gaming still very much in this. We've been seeing all weekend long, Dave, matches that when you think, oh, this team's going to peel away. This team's going to be able to get like 6-7 kills. Surely they walk away with the win. And then we end up out of nowhere 47-47. So, you know, I'm really not counting my chickens before they hatch, right? That's the phrase.
That's some sort of saying.
Count my eggs. I don't know. I don't freaking know things. 40 points, excuse me, cross here for FaZe Clan. Royal 2, big fight happening over toward Blue. Did he get the stick on him? No, he doesn't.
Close.
Very close there. But each and every one of these kills, each and every one of these trades is going to benefit FaZe Clan. So every single time a member of Optic goes down, or rather a member of FaZe goes down, Optic goes down in the same exact breath. It's been back and forth this entire time, but with that little bit of a buffer, FaZe are right there from being able to finish this one.
Yeah, just playing those exchanges perfectly.
You take those.
Somehow getting that stick across the map. 5-kill lead here for FaZe, and with how they're playing and how they're exchanging, I don't see anything changing here.
We don't need to really do all that much.
Felt like that last little push was Optic's chance. It felt like when they had him stuck over at the cafe and getting those kills, but they just got traded out each time. Royal 2 getting that kill. Royal 2 throwing the nade, getting some damage.
The heavy hitters here for FaZe Clan definitely living up to that. World 2 and Renegade working together here. Frosty's got himself the shock, and he'll go ahead and
he's
put
just
some damage
wasting
out
some
there.
ammo as well.
Yep.
He wants to make sure that if he somehow loses this, he's not giving a full shock rifle over to Optic. And so there he goes. He used up about half the bullets.
Yeah.
Realized
He'll
he only needs
gladly
3
take the
kills.
shots. He'll gladly take the
It's the wise play.
2 players tucked away over toward that truck. Frosty looking to get the win here. Gets the kill. Big kill there. Number 49, number 50 coming in. And FaZe Clan answer back, tied up 1-1.
What a stellar performance there from Renegade and the FaZe roster.
No,
Getting
Stellar's
that
on
win
SSG.
when they need it.
Stellar's on SSG. I don't know if you know that.
I will give you all the courtesy laughs. All of them.
Hey, that's a Mimi joke, so I gotta do it for my dog. But all right, we're all knotted up here, folks. Optic Gaming walked into that one expecting that, you know, especially with them getting those early camos, you're like, okay, you could try and, you know, gain some momentum here. But credit to FaZe Clan, every single time Optic put themselves in a position to try and gain some kind of advantage through weaponry or even just, you know, positioning in general, FaZe were always there to answer back. It's impressive to see in these Slayer games, even when you have Snakebite struggling to be able to get kills on the board, he's not struggling to assist his teammates and give them as much support as he possibly can. You know, he had 6 assists out of that game, but he probably had a few more considering that he was putting shots into everyone.
Lots of call-outs, lots of plays. Now, the bigger thing to keep in consideration, though, is I'm not worried about the time when a member of FaZe is underslain and they're still winning.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the times where they overslay and do not get the objective efficiency that they need. So great play by Snakebite there. Once their team got further in this game, he basically went even. You know, he started the game, what, like 0-7, and then ended at, 3-11?
Yeah, with 6 assists, you know, not bad at all.
But just playing his role, watching the right angles, pushing when he need to, and like I said, getting very unlucky or unfortunate a lot of times where you get stuck or just these kills are all hard. You're playing against these members of Optic. They're not easy kills.
I do find it to be quite funny that we joked about it potentially going to 47-47, but he got really close there, Dave. He got really close in these Slayers. You can see Formal, little bio break for him there, so we'll get back into the action in a little bit. And map 3 will be Streets
Oddball. In his head
Oddball.
right now. All right, next time they push over towards top this side, I'll be throwing my nade at this angle to perfectly land right here.
Probably is, honestly. Or looking at stats, one or the other. Streets Oddball on the horizon. And then we make our way over to King of the Hill live fire. And Tony had called it before on the desk. He said, you need FaZe to get at least one of these first 3. And they do that, mission accomplished. But now, do you try and hedge your bets, go after that 3rd map here? You got to, no choice, obviously. But Optic Gaming coming into a ball, I gotta say, I mean, you know, such a great record for them in this particular game mode. 17-3 overall in the season. And granted, they've played it more than anyone else because they're playing a lot of games, but still 17-3 with the quality of opponents that they face off regularly. Goes to show you how strong this team is in Oddball. But while I say that, though, something I do want to make note of here in Salt Lake City, well, FaZe Clan actually having a pretty decent amount of success with Oddball. 3-0 in overall total up until this point. So, you know, they might be feeling themselves a little bit here. You can see who are the guys that are primarily going to be leading the charge when it comes to objective efficiency. No surprise there that it's Snakebite and Trippy. And even though Trippy's been a little quiet today, I'm waiting for that big game moment to come up.
Big game,
from him.
Trippy. He'll come out, and we'll see if it's out this series or later series, because I'm sure they have a long-term life ahead of themselves. But how deep they make of a run is going to be decided in this series right here. 1-1. Winner of this match is going to be in
My guy's dedicated.
the winners bracket finals.
My guy's dedicated. He's got the stream up on the other side. He's trying to get his skins, while at the same time, watch Quadrant play too. She just yelled to the crowd, to the heavens. I'll assume it was cheering for
Still
Dropnik.
doing math. He's like, yeah, actually, round it over there.
I like how we had this whole thing happen, and then we came back
Carry
and
the
Lucid
one.
still
Oh,
has
God,
this.
that's why the nade didn't land there. All right.
Lucid still has the same expression. All this happened, and he's still there, just pondering. What a day it has been. Upsets, fantastic moments across the board here. But I am really looking to see how these teams set up on Streets, right? Because I feel like that has been kind of the theme today whenever you and I get an opportunity to cast some of these games. Teams have really not been able to get comfortable in those setups here and on Streets. I mean, I can't really see that being...
I was going to say, Streets Oddball as well, it's not one that you can rotate as well compared to something like Live Fire. Live Fire is all about those rotations. So I would say if this was a Live Fire Oddball, I would be more worried about FaZe here. But based on how we saw them slaying that last game, if they can get the kills, you can hold some strong setups here on Streets Oddball.
Yeah, we've seen teams just run away with it with great positioning, great setups, not allowing anyone to be free to do whatever they want willy-nilly here. Everyone's coming out. It's a good time. Hopefully Formal's back from his bio break.
We saw him walk back. He came back to the chair, yeah.
Is he? All right, good on him.
Down. We'll be getting this game up shortly.
Quick one. Don't drink too much water.
I saw a thumbs up right there.
Oh, man. Yeah, and also, too, like, how those openings are going to be, right? Because we've been seeing, Dave, a few, like, Optics had quite a few decent openings to, like, get those nades in places where they know those FaZe players are going to push, right? And on Streets, I mean, you have those clear lines of sight that you can really, really screw someone up when they try and contest in those early exchanges.
Yeah, so we'll have to see how this plays off the start, but I don't expect any early ball grab here. I'll probably be wrong, but I don't expect as much of an early ball grab versus these teams making sure they get a bunch of damage, get a kill, and then go for that ball.
Yeah. All right. Players are loading in. It's time to do this. Map 3, Oddball, 2 rounds to win. You already know what the gimmick is. Let's see how this all plays out, shall we? 1-1, tied up. So now both teams are like, screw it. This ain't a BO5 anymore. This is a BO3. Let's focus on the task at hand. Win these 2 maps and move forward in this tournament. What an accomplishment it will be for FaZe after a disappointing Atlanta finish to have, to beat the team that beat SSG. That's sick. I see a hand raise.
Going awry.
You know, I had a feeling
what's going on.
I had a feeling. That's why I didn't get all hyped up. You know what I mean?
I was actually just like checking out everything on Mombasa there. I was like, man, it seems like a place I'd like to visit. I saw like burgers, arcade, cafeteria, Hollow Dog.
Yeah,
one Hollow Dog.
Like, what's even Hollow Dog? You know, like
man's best friend, Hollow Form.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you didn't see that? You'll see the billboard.
I thought you were talking about a hot dog.
No, we got hot dogs here in the venue. Hollow Dog.
I was like, what the hell's a Hollow Dog? How do you eat that? That must not be quite filling. it's just the skin of the hot dog, no meat in the middle. That actually that's a nightmare somewhere. Oh man. We've also had a couple side tournaments happening over in the stations. You can see in the distance. Well, we had Halo 3 4v4s and a couple other really fun events. FFA was yesterday too. So much to do here. If you haven't had a chance to ever come to a Halo event, I highly suggest it. Worlds is around the corner. Don't know if you guys know that, but Worlds kind of slaps. So you should come through because it is a damn good time up in Seattle. All right, I see players getting ready to go. So we might be jumping into the action. See, I feel confident, Dave, to like.
You feel better this time.
I feel good.
All right.
Nothing will go wrong. Knock on wood. you gotta make sure I don't, because somewhere in the back the production team's like, why did he say that?
Everything was fine until he uttered those words.
Remove this man.
Well, these players have had plenty of time to think about the start here on Streets. I would guess that probably nothing has changed over those minutes.
Yeah.
They're gonna go with their tried and true starts that they've practiced, that they know are consistent. Going to try to counter each other here right off the bat. We're going to see, I would say the only chance that we'll really see an early ball grab would be potentially if Optic get a lot of damage over towards the Neon side, and then someone wants to just grab that, jump up from ATMs, and bring it back towards tower.
Yeah,
that's the only early ball grab. There's going to be no early ball grab from FaZe side. They have to get slays, have to push out, take up more ground before they can get that ball.
And let's not forget, too, about camo, right? So, you got to worry about that. You just have to worry about all
worry about
stuff.
everything, pretty much.
Everything on this one. I think players should be loading up. I see them loading into the lobby here. We thank you so much for joining us for our podcast. You can find us on Spotify.
I would
Would you do a
That'd be my
podcast?
nightmare.
Would you do a podcast with me,
Absolutely
Dave?
not.
You want to do a podcast with me?
I feel like I already do a podcast with you every day. Like when I go in the back by the green room and you're just talking to me, I'm like, wait, he's still talking at me right now.
That's right. If there's one thing, I love the sound of my own voice. Okay? I'm going to have you know that right now. How dare you disrespect it? All right. I'm hearing players moving around. I think we're in this one. Let's do this, baby.
And that was a fast charge over towards the Neon side. I don't know how Renegade got that close without being spotted before, but what an unorthodox start from both these teams.
Ball gets grabbed early on from Optic Gaming here. First 20 or so seconds. Look at that Commando just raining
that was
down.
so accurate.
Yeah, he was hitting every single shot, but he needs to be careful because he knows someone else is going to pop up behind him. Got two players weakened over toward the arcade streets. And somehow, some way, he got Renegade
He got the stick on the B stairs and then gets finished off the tires. So just all these players just going down one after the other. Not sure if it's time for ball, though, because it's still a 3-on-3 scenario. Looks like Lucid's going to try to scrap a few seconds of time, but like I said, streets can be scary. You don't want to give up too many free deaths on here, and that could be argued as a free death there by Lucid.
And now Stalker Rifle going in the hands of Renegade. He's got a decent amount of ammo with it, but he didn't have a decent amount of shield, so he's not going to be long for this world. Watch out on the flank, though. It's actually going to be one of the members from FaZe Clan actually creeping up right from the side of Tram. Ball's played over toward the palm trees here. World 2 looking to win this one out. Instead, just going to have to go with the trade in that situation.
That's such a win by Lucid in that scenario, as he was already down in shots to be able to turn that, burn Royal 2, and get the melee. That should have been a situation where Royal 2 was live at the end, and that's just those small little battles and advantages that these players are going for.
Yeah.
They're trying to get that little extra damage before they die, or while they're down in the fight, they're trying to close that gap and get a melee to get the finish and trade.
That was brutal. Spike grenade just absolutely obliterated Trippy when he was pushing inside of there here, but now we got FaZe Clan with control. Ball's over toward this Tram side. Look where that camouflage popping up in 4 seconds here. We're almost waiting for an opportunity to go in for the push. Trying to see if he can get a read on it here, but there's not really much that Renegade can do. He's just going to have to fight this one out. He can't get the trade, but maybe someone from his team, is going to be present to help him out, but that's not going to be the case. Formal's still going to be alive. Finally, Frosty comes around the corner to pick him off. Dead Zone, though, with camo. He's doing a good job of just laying information out in the field. But when you see those blue players on that screen, he's going to be waiting for his teammates coming up from the driveway. But watch out for Frosty.
Look at that. He knew it's too good to be true. Dead Zone knew that there was going to be somebody over on the driveway side. There's no chance that that ball carrier was the furthest one over towards the Tram side and only watching stairs. If that ball carrier was the furthest one over, they would have been looking towards driveway and stairs. So just those small little nuanceical differences, he can tell where positions are for other FaZe members.
And those smart plays are leading to more success here for Optic Gaming, now tied up, taking the lead. Still, though, early days here in the first round of Oddball. And Lucid patrolling around this, knowing that there's going to be a push coming through here any second now. Massive grenade is going to land on the feet of Frosty there, allowing Trippy to be able to get that kill as well as the assist for Lucid here. And Trippy's still going to continue to be alive and be a problem right around the Tram. You got ball, it's available to get picked up now, and Optic Gaming can continue to hold this one down as this Tram setup and also the concurrent slays that came through force FaZe all the way back on the PD side of the map, thus giving Optic a decent amount of time to game.
Yeah, Formal was the only one alive. He realized his teammate got picked off, so he is going to drop and slay. Sees one over at Dumpster, another one at B stairs. They're going to try this rotation towards driveway, but it's going to be cut off. I don't know how they're going to stop Frosty here.
Well, they managed to do it together. But with Formal being one shot, Renegade knew that that was going to be an easy opportunity for him to get the win. He actually gets 2 kills out of that one here. That's going to have to force his ball outside. Here comes Royal 2 around the corner. And goodbye, my friend. I thought he was actually going to dip it outside toward palm trees. Instead, he kept it inside of the Tram. And that's just going to continue.
He could maybe loop on over towards Commando and maybe toss out Dumpster side. But sometimes as too many members fall on your team, in-play ball isn't that effective. Tossing off balcony, you might just be tossing it in someone's hands over at the palm trees anyways. So there's times that players are going to opt to see if they can get some sort of trade or slay versus just a quick toss out into the center of the map.
Smart decision making there in a lot of those instances. Watch out, Dead Zone. He had to deal with a snake bite on the flank. Gets that Stalker Rifle. He also has a Shroud screen to work with here too. That Stalker Rifle is going to hit like a hammer and do a decent amount of damage. To be careful there, actually. I don't know if you saw that the color of the grenade, the plasma there landing inside of the Shroud screen there. So that actually was Quite an unfortunate series of events that occurred there, leading to Optic Gaming being able to get control of the ball again, and they're getting ever so close to finishing up this first round, Dave.
Yeah, the ups and downs of that Shroud screen is 1, they can't shoot you with bullets very easily because you're hidden. 2, it's a grenade magnet.
Yeah,
magnet. Let's be real.
Yeah.
As soon as people see that go down, they're like, all right, I'm going to chuck a grenade in there and hit somebody.
Indeed, indeed. 91 and counting here as Optic Gaming looking to close out this first round. And I got to say, this has been impressive from them. They're going to have to give this one up just for a second here. 5 points, or excuse me, 6 points is all Optic Gaming needs out of this. What does FaZe Clan opt to do? It seems like they're going to continue to
I like this play by FaZe.
setup.
They're pushing out Tram. They're taking over more ground, forcing Optic to get a couple rounds of slays in order to get close to that ball. Just like that, they spot Frosty over at the Neons. One-on-one against Lucid. Lucid's going to win that. That's going to be Renegade, Royal 2, and Frosty. And this one's all but over. Ball in the hands of Trippy. Counts it down, 2, 1. That's going to be round 1 here for Optic Gaming.
Optic start this one off nicely. A decent amount of control at the start. FaZe Clan never really felt like they were in that game.
And the scary part, though, is FaZe outslayed. Outslayed by 5 kills there and lost by a significant margin.
That is quite
52 to 100 there.
Yeah, that's pretty big. That is pretty big. They're going to need to have to button those things up if they want to win this, if they want to win this event. And Optic Gaming doing everything right here in this series.
Going off to a different style of start here, though. FaZe, they get a kill right away. They grab the ball, bring it back towards tower. Now this is going to work out if they get the follow-up slays, but if they do not get these follow-up kills, that's just going to be delivering a ball setup for Optic Gaming.
Renegade gets himself the camo. He gets out of there. He knows he's getting pressed, so he's going to have to run away from this one and get eyes. And the camo's going to give him a decent amount of movement opportunities here, but he doesn't really gain that much information, just knowing that where these guys are going to be located. And all you get out of that is a trade.
Just spotting around so many players. Snakebite trying to finish off Dead Zone here. And that's going to be 2 down for FaZe. That could be the sign here for Dead Zone to grab this ball, but they need to clear out Renegade off the tram.
Oh, that nade.
Death nade.
Right? Like a little martyrdom there to just toss that one forward. Now though, Lucid, he does get Frosty to one shot there, but just look at the way that they're supporting one another. The thing is, they got to get out of this area.
Lucid trying to buy some time. He's the furthest one up, and they want to clear him out. That's going to be Renegade picking off Lucid. World 2 getting a kill of his own. And Dead Zone trying to equalize this, but this is going to be some time on the board here for FaZe Clan.
Frosty looking to play a little keep away with that repulsor. Here comes the push, and World 2 is anticipating maybe something coming from Neon Street, but instead it's going to be over toward the tower side. And World 2 is anticipating maybe another player potentially pushing toward Cafe, which is why he's playing real slow here. And they knew exactly where he was. Was able to lay down a few shots on him, but not really enough here in this instance. Snakebite, though, trying to get eyes on that camo. It's popped up here. Formal's got to be careful. He was already weakened at that point. Dead Zone, though, looking to get involved in the action. Frosty watching up on top. And Frosty super weak there. Big kill. World 2 having to deal with Dead Zone in front of him, and that's just going to be another camo grab there for Optic.
Look at Dead Zone just buying so much time and attention in front of the tram.
Yeah.
All those players, like you saw Royal 2 running out to try to get him. You saw Frosty uncertain of where this person was in tram. In fact, jumping off front balcony out of fear in the player inside tram.
It's felt like this round has gone on forever, and it is only 15 to 15.
Yeah, 2 minutes have passed by of these teams just trying to slay each other. And it's not for lack of attempts.
Yeah.
You've seen FaZe many times grabbing this ball, bringing it back, trying to get it set up, but these teams just respecting each other so much, realizing don't go all 4 down, do not let them get a full setup here.
Trippy had to unfortunately reload his gun there. Dead Zone, though, does get picked off. And that's going to be 3 down now for Optic Gaming. Last player left alive is Formal. He's all the way in the back, and he's actually going in for the fight. Wins it against Frosty. Opening up an opportunity here for him with that Stalker rifle. Decent amount of ammo in it, and he's got eyes on it, but he's not actually going to go and pick that up.
Doesn't have to worry about it no more. This trap no longer valid. This trap that Royal 2 is setting, he's not going to fall into it since the ball just reset.
Royal 2 still back there.
He's just worried about he just wants this free PD kill. And the second that he sees that Formal's over here, he's gonna move. And there's the move, pushes over towards the A gen. Throws on a Shroud, probably a grenade gonna fly in there, as we said before.
Well played, though. Try and force that opportunity there for Optic, or rather for FaZe Clan, but for Optic Gaming, they're gonna be the ones that benefit from it. So, we're gonna go back to a very similar setup to what we saw in that first round there, where Optic Gaming ran away with it. So if they continue to play the way that they have been inside of this tram station with the holds that they've had, Dave, this could be a quick one for FaZe Clan. They're going to have to break this ASAP.
Yeah, and also at the pace that these teams are going as far as slays versus time passing and how much time they have on the board, this would only get to around like a 45 or 50 mark for these teams. So not saying that's just going to end at that mark, but sometimes you have to look at an objective game such as Oddball and say, all right, based on how these teams are playing, how scrappy we are we trying to go for 100 here, or is it okay to scrap up 5 seconds, drop and slay?
Yeah.
And this is one of those games where it's very valuable to grab it for 5 seconds, drop and slay. You don't need to go for a full setup in a scenario like this.
With the pressure as high as it is, you got to take what you can get.
Enemy has the ball.
Ball has been played though, and look at that there. World 2 knew that someone was going to be lingering about inside of red. He finds him inside of the alley, and that is going to just shut him down now, giving him that stalker rifle, which will give him good weaponry around this cross here to try and help out his teammates, but he's getting peppered with grenades, and Dead Zone's got his sight trained on him. Then World 2 knows that this is exactly what's happening here. He can't seem to get away from it. Snakebite there to help him out. World 2 though, well, he's only going to be by himself here.
No shield for so long.
Yeah, for the entire time it felt like.
You gotta wonder, like, there's times where that unfortunately plays out that way, where he dies with the rest of his teammates, and there's 3 down. This is going to be a ball in the hands of Lucid once again. You gotta wonder, are they gonna try to set up in tram and hold it back here, or they're prepping for a rotation? They realize that there's already somebody over at Neon, and in case like this, Trippy is gonna go clear out tires instead of worrying about Neon. And he's already surprised by Renegade in the courtyard.
That is the thing though, right? Just when you think, oh, those guys are over there, nope, they will find a way to slide and speed their way over to you at a moment's notice.
I think there was some indecisiveness there from Optic during that last setup, because I think in general they either need somebody towards the top C stairs to be able to shoot on Neon along with Trippy, or they just need to commit to the rotate and bring that ball towards B Street.
That is what FaZe Clan are looking to do here, get this ball out of tram, because it kind of has been a bit of a sore spot for them here. Frosty, though, looking to catch some players off guard, and it's actually going to be Camo player now, called out toward tires, so...
That double back, I like it.
Yeah.
I do like it, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, because he knew he had a teammate there as well, so he can double back and have that guy be occupied in the middle. In most cases, he would have been trained on that to wait for him to maybe creep around the corner here. World 2, not much you could do out of that one, Bud, but that's a ball rotating over toward arcade side. Trippy has done a pretty decent job with this camo here, just causing a lot of carnage, right? Putting shots in, random shots whenever the opportunity presents itself. Wait a minute,
those
though.
Last few seconds being scooped up by Formal in the PD. Looks like he's gonna repulse that plasma grenade onto the player, but still, FaZe break through. They get the kills, and at the 98 mark, you have to wonder, should Formal have tried to scrap up the last 2 seconds, or was Slane the correct play?
That might very well be it there. He's got to get in there right now, and he can't do it in time. And Optic Gaming go up 2-1.
Optic just being the better objective team. Right there, they outslayed 76-68 overall in that game. But the ball score, just a complete different story.
Yeah.
100-52 in round 1. I didn't see what the total score was for FaZe at the end of round 2, but in the end, almost doubling their score each game.
Yeah, there was a decent amount of control there by Optic Gaming. That tram setup, we were talking about it before, what we were going to see. We hadn't really seen a lot of that because we were doing a lot of live fire. Live fire is always going to be carnage. But in this instance, Optic had the read. They played this one so well. And FaZe Clan, even in situations where they broke the tram setup and they wanted to try and see if they can, you know, rotate that ball over to PD or do something. You notice a few of those times, even in that last fight, like I would say second to last fight, when Snakebite had the ball, there was a little bit of indecision there where they weren't quite sure where they wanted to go. Do we want to take this PD? Do we want to take this to tram? And at that point, when you're not sure in those pivotal moments, that's when things start to fall apart. And Optic were perfectly fine to capitalize on that.
On top of that, too, it felt like Optic were able to find a lot of these Royal 2 traps.
Yeah,
you know, you saw the one where Formal was over in PD, and he just fully avoided it. He didn't decide just to rotate tower to try to flank over at Cafe side. He just went over towards tires and avoided Royal 2 and basically kept him out of the game for 15, 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And then the second time, too, was when Royal 2 was hiding over at Caution. They knew somebody was out and about, and they were able to find him over at Caution, get that kill, and then make the push on over towards B Street and Tram.
All right, well, now with Optic Gaming up 2-1 here, how does FaZe respond? We're going into King of the Hill next.
This is one Tony said is heavily favored here for FaZe.
We'll see how that plays out. Otherwise, Tony's a liar.
Yeah.
Heard it here first, folks.
Wouldn't doubt it either. He's always coming up, like, every time we go out to the restaurant and stuff, he's like, hey, it's my birthday. Can I get, like,
always
a free
saying it's his
appetizer or a free dessert or something?
Always saying it's his birthday.
Just,
this guy.
Yeah, he's always on about it. I'm like, every day can't be your birthday, Tony.
Oh, what's up, Tony? Good to see you there, buddy. Oh, man. Does FaZe find a way to respond and force that Slayer? Because I do think you get to Aquarius Slayer. I happen to quite like FaZe in that situation.
I do as well, especially given the fact that they won the Game 2 Slayer.
Yeah.
I think this is Optic's best opportunity to close out this series. I think this one is a 3-1 Optic win or a 3-2 FaZe win. I don't know if I see a 3-2 Optic win in the series.
And I'm curious also how they play this out too, right? Because we've been seeing teams go for 2 and then just kind of chill around, right? Especially when they have that time advantage. They'll use that to great effect. So do players try and chase after as many points as they can, knowing that this is going to be such a close contest?
Or see how many drain early on. That'll be the real indicator. Is if there's 3 or 4 minutes on the clock, they ain't going to worry about trying to drain the clock that long. If there's a minute and a half on the clock, absolutely.
FaZe Clan are going to get that control first, but the sniper will go over to Formal's hands here, and he'll bring this around over toward Green, wait for his teammates, because he ended up losing 2 out of that one. But if he can find himself one more player here, that'd be big. Tagged up, though, so they know that he's going to be present. Camo's coming up in a second.
Right there, but oh my God, no scope in Royal 2 on the Nest Bridge. His team's getting camo. Now they have to somehow use this camo and use the snipe to get a lead here. Optic are down about 60% on this hill. Can they somehow claw this one back?
Yeah, but this hill moves so quickly when you're on it. So, I think if you're Optic, you were fine giving that up considering, what you were able to gain instead. The sniper rifle, the camo.
Set up, but now they just have to actually secure the kills. And when Formal's shooting like that, I wouldn't be too worried about it.
I think he's doing a pretty good job securing the kills, Dave.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but he's doing all right. There he goes. One more no scope.
When you shoot like that, why even bother zooming in if you're going to hit every shot every way? Formal with the 5-0-1 start. But FaZe answer back. They get a kill. They're in the hill, and they only got about 15% of this hill left to get their first point on the board.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a cap here. I cannot see Dead Zone and the rest of Optic stopping this one. So FaZe are going to get on the board. 1 kill here. Snakebite looking for an opening with that sniper rifle. He also knows that someone's actually going to be hanging around behind him here. So Renegade was there to back his team, or excuse me, Frosty was there to back his teammate up with a trade.
Great heads-up play there, too, by Optic. Not just over-committing towards that B hill. Instead, they got the tower step, they got C-plat, and now they're getting some time in the new hill. They almost have it halfway completed.
I don't think he was able to send that player packing there, but end up losing 3 now. So an opportunity here for FaZe Clan as they have some numbers. It's only going to be 1 player left alive, and it's Trippy. But they get that spawn advantage over toward the tower side. Trippy's now going to look to make a play here. Get some eyes on the Renegade. Tags him with 2. Maybe looking for another one as well.
Just great heads-up play between both of them. Trading out in that bandit fight. That's going to be Trippy for Renegade.
Impressive.
But unfortunately, during that time, Lucid fell as well. So FaZe have the advantage. They have the hill. They are not sitting in it right now because they want to secure other locations. They're trying to make sure that mud's clear. They want to make sure that nest is clear.
And camo, which is available right now. And there you go. FaZe Clan managed to get possession of that one. So with that camo control, they're going to see if they can use that as much as possible. But I don't know if that player ended up getting taken out. I don't think so. It might be Snakebite who had secured it.
Enemy about to
Look at this. Royal 2 just knows it's too good to be true here on this nest side. Just wondering where these players are at. That's going to be a double kill, though. Dead Zone and Formal both getting a pick. And Royal 2, the last survivor here at the back of tower. Going to run, try to stay alive in mud. Know he's being hunted. That's going to be Formal and Dead Zone clearing out Royal 2 out of the back of the tower.
Yeah, and there's no real position that FaZe can take here to get back into that. So they're going to need to do this the hard way, force their way through this. Now, of course,
God, just drops in. He knows 2 players are down there, and he wants to enter that fight. You got to question if that worked out well. We'd be calling Lucid a god, but you got to wonder. He's running into a disadvantageous fight there in the tunnel with the last 2 members of FaZe.
And FaZe Clan only have a little bit of progress left to gain here, so they do so. They'll go up 2-0. 3 minutes, 50 seconds on the clock. This kind of goes back to that conversation we were having, Dave. I think you're going to start to see FaZe Clan just push their advantages.
Maybe.
I don't think that they're
Not on this hill, though.
No.
This one is a little too easy to hide in the back and hold.
Someone can give him an opening here.
They want Snakebite to be this opening kill.
There's two
Instead,
players
it's
down.
Renegade
That's a good
somehow
one.
killing Formal with a spike grenade, somehow killing Lucid with his Bandit. I don't know how Renegade does that. You're in a stalemate situation. He pulls out a double kill. The guy's a maniac.
Yeah, he really is, man. So talented. Has constantly been impressive. Came onto the scene back in the Splice days and just always impressed. But Snakebite looking for this shot here, but the movement, hey, you know what? You go ahead and take those. That's 2 players down right now. 3 players down, as a matter of fact. Make that 4 for Optic Gaming, and FaZe Clan right back on the hill.
1 bullet. I'd expect at least 3 to 4 kills knowing that's Renegade. That 1 bullet.
Yeah, it's just a cheeky collateral, you know what I mean? Little things like that.
Based on how he's playing, but scrapping up this hill, and this one is looking dire here for Optic. Tony's prediction coming true, which is even worse.
Yeah.
That's the even worse part. Tony being right.
That's your worst nightmare day.
It is.
But Optic, though, managed to fight back now. You got a few players hovering about this camo here. Dead Zone's going to be so weak, but Lucid wants to go after this, and he's going to go for it, but Frosty finds him from behind. He's going to tag him a few times, and that nade is going to just be a magnet right toward him. Renegade now wants to grab it, but instead it's going to be Formal and Trippy working in tandem to stop him in his tracks now. Snakebite jiggling around the corner, getting a lot of damage out. 2 players at no shield, so that means that those guys are just going to have to back up entirely here. No one has been able to get that camo yet.
I like this play. If you're not committing and going to the camo, just get that hill time. Put that time pressure onto FaZe, and Dead Zone gets the double kill. There's our 2 members, gets the camo. Royal 2, the only one alive that can stop this. And I have a feeling that FaZe are going to be setting up for the next hill over in mud.
Yeah, and it kind of goes back to what you were saying before, Dave, right? How difficult it is to break that. He had a great choice to make there, and he just decided, I'm going to go and play for the score. I'm going to get that one locked in for my team, and they are successful in that. And on top of that, too, I think they were able to get that camo. Yes, they were. Dead Zone has it in his hand, so mission accomplished here. They get the point. They're back in this game, but it is going to be on the opposite side of the map here, so don't need to try and clear out some of these members of FaZe Clan. They're able to do so against 2 of them.
Here we go, Dead Zone on the hunt over at Cuts. Takes out Royal 2. They're gonna start the time here. Now can they get the kills? Dead Zone's camo runs out at the least optimal time over there on the bags. Lucid watching Big Door and realizes he has to reposition. He wants to get up high, otherwise all these FaZe members are going to outnumber Optic on top center.
And that would be quite problematic here. But he'll jump back to this because he does see his teammates there to back him up. And for FaZe, they're just doing their due diligence trying to clear all of this, right? Look around, see who's hanging around some of these corners here. 2 players down now, so a lot of work to do here for Lucid. Unfortunately for him, he's not going to be able to accomplish anything. And that allows Optic, or rather FaZe, to get back into this one here. 1 minute, 59 seconds left on the clock, by the way.
This one here is the decider. Do FaZe get this hill and then slay out for top center? Or do they have to fight for top center for that 3rd and final point?
Well, it's looking quickly like it's going to be that top center battle. Camo's up now. Beautiful read from Dead Zone. Bullseye.
I like this play too by Royal 2. Just giving up on that, realizing he does not have the position. He gets the pick off on Lucid, and he cannot just charge straight for that camo and get a free kill here to Dead Zone. And look at this, just putting a distraction on, trying to lay down shots, and gonna potentially pick off Dead Zone with this pressure.
Yeah, they had no choice but to get him out of there, and mission accomplished, but he's not going to be dead quite yet. And if anything, Royal 2 is going to be the one that's in a bit of a blender here, trying to win this battle out. Half shields, but it's going to be enough for Dead Zone to get the win.
Now, on the other side of that, back and forth.
Yeah.
At that pillar. Dead Zone sprinting as if he's going to round the corner, get a melee, forcing Royal 2 to sprint out and give him the headshot angle.
Good awareness from Formal. He saw the camo player there. Renegade has to be frustrated with that, but Snakebite's there for the pickup.
Camo has not been safe here in Salt Lake City.
No, it is not.
I'll tell you that. Over in Atlanta last event, we saw some of the most valuable camos and optimal camos that we've seen so far throughout the season. Quite the opposite here in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, must be something in the water. Could be the air, I don't know. You know, helps out your vision a little bit. Frosty, they want to remove him from this tower position here because he has been such a thorn on their side, helping his teammates be able to get control. of that middle area. And there's a lot of progress that was just gained by FaZe Clan. So now the job's going to have to be done here as well to remove him from it. Yeah, beautiful nade placement is going to remove Renegade from the equation.
Expecting that second player to come on through. That's going to be Royal 2 falling. Now you got to wonder, Optic could have been getting a little bit of time here. This probably isn't going to come back to bite him, but look at this, wasting the first clip. Doesn't want this in the hands of FaZe. In fact, he's going to say, you even have to reload it. I ain't going to do that for you.
Yeah, what a guy. Not much you could do with that one. Gun feels a little cursed right now, Dave. I'll be honest with you.
Both these teams realizing that this game is going to be decided on this hill most likely. They don't want to overstep, give up those free kills. Look at this posturing for that top center tower. There's Snakebite. Royal 2 also falls. That's going to be their cue to get some time.
Big opportunity.
Optic going in, and they know there's players at bags. What can they do about it? He's getting no scope.
When you need to clutch up at the most pivotal moments, you can always lean on Formal to be that guy. And he gets that third point for Optic. Could very well be the end of the game here if it keeps going like this, but you still have a minute to work with here. Just under a minute now.
I have a feeling Optic could go for slays here. I don't expect them to step inside this hill. They're going to try slay FaZe Clan for 45 seconds. Can they do it?
FaZe will be getting control of that garage side of the map here. Snakebite can't seem to get away from that. He's been having a little bit of a rough series here.
Camos are not safe here in Salt Lake City, I'm telling you.
And the green gun does the work. 3 players down now. Snakebite off the respawn. 30 seconds remaining. Frosty's got control. He also has the translocator. Now, no one's going to be coming up from the other side. Oh boy, he might have actually TP'd in front of a bunch of people, but manages to stay alive at least for a moment here.
Somehow gets that nade informal, but Trippy takes him out. Now Royal 2 and Renegade have to push all the way across here from pillars to try to make it towards the hill. This is not looking good, Golden Boy. This is FaZe's last chance.
Frosty's coming out of the big door here. He's going to have to push this. 10 seconds remaining now. And at this point, you can't make any mistakes if you're FaZe Clan. You need to be pretty much perfect in order to get this one. But a massive nade is going to stop him right in his tracks. Lucid going up against Royal 2. Royal 2, smart play there, backing away. Renegade, though, he's not going to be long for this world. He gets picked off, but Frosty's there to help his teammate out. Halfway progress gain. Is this actually going to happen right now?
I don't know. This is insane. But right now, Deadzone's going to look for any sort of kills on the outskirts. They aren't just going to YOLO it right into the hill, but as I say that, somehow slips by. They don't know he's there. Deadzone gets behind, gives the pick onto Frosty. Nobody else FaZe near the hill to get in, and that's going to be it. Optic Gaming winning 3-1. Punch their ticket to the winners bracket finals.
Oh boy. After a traumatic Friday for Optic Gaming, it's all success for the Green Wall here on Saturday, and they will move forward. FaZe Clan going down to the lower bracket. There was an opportunity there, man, but it just escaped them at the worst possible time, and they were not expecting that flank coming in as well.
I was just going to say, the play right there totally for Optic was try to get some kills near Nest, try to get some kills near bags, something like that. But all of a sudden, Deadzone saw that opening, saw that opportunity,
play.
Just sprinted towards the back of green and was not punished for it. Those are one of those do or die plays. That could have very well been a free kill coming out of Deadzone, and then FaZe having a strong setup and trying to close it out and clutch that up.
Yeah, that was a tough game there for FaZe, but for Optic Gaming, whew, man, this team, way to dig deep in those moments where it matters most. And now they find themselves in a winner bracket final situation yet again. This Optic Gaming team built for success, looking to finally right a wrong all season long, not being able to lift that trophy. And this is the best opportunity that these teams, that this team in particular would have. Look at the way that Space Station struggling in the lower bracket. Optic beat them, right? So now, and also, let's not forget that coming out of this upper side here, that's a great advantage for Optic Gaming to have. I'll tell you what, all smiles across the board for the Green Wall, but let's actually see who Blaze has standing by. It's Lucid for an interview.
Yes, I got the man himself. It's Big Lucid on the main stage. Show some love to Optic Gaming as they make it back to the winners finals. Lucid, we know your matchup against FaZe. It is one for the times, and it's always put it on the show, but you guys best them this time, 3-1. How you feel getting this win, and what was the game plan going into it?
I mean, I think we're feeling real good. Friday was a little slow, but the practice that we've had, we're just putting in the discipline right now. We're following through on our plans.
Definitely are. Now, You guys are gonna go to the winners finals now, okay? And how important would it be to win that winners finals and go in and have that advantage going into the finals? Because the last few events you've been having to play to reset that bracket. So wouldn't that be a weight off the shoulders?
It absolutely will. Coming in from winners into grands is a huge, huge weight to overcome, coming from the loser side. So it's been a little while, and we're gonna try to make it happen.
There you go, okay? Gonna have to go up against Shopify Rebellion tomorrow. We're gonna light this stage up green, but talk to me about how proud you are of the boys for everything in which you faced this weekend, and resilience and everything.
Yeah, man, we're on another level right now with just our awareness, our survivability, our discipline, just us adapting on the fly. It's stuff we've been talking about, things we've been going through. It's not been easy. It's been a lot of late nights, putting in the extra hours. That's what it's come down to.
Hey, it's definitely showing, okay, and these fans love you guys for it. Lastly, what do you want to say to them as they get ready to get some rest so they could be here to blow the roof off this venue?
Thank you guys as always. We have our noise cancellation, got everything going, the white noise, but we can still hear you, and I appreciate it as always.
They can hear you and feel you in the venue and at home. Give it up one more time for Optic Gaming, and Lot, take us away.
Thank you so much, Blaze. Yeah, the story ends very similar to Atlanta. In fact, the same series score. Optic Gaming looking so good right now. I mean, despite that first game and that first day, I mean, Lucid said it best. We will not be doing that tomorrow, is what he said yesterday. And he certainly kept his promise, especially to the green wall. That man never lies. Lucid will never tell you lies, I'll tell you that much.
Hey, you know who did lie? Tony did.
I know, that is
Tony
very
lied.
That is very, very true. I got to say, though, amazing gameplay from Optic. The teamwork, unmatched. And I think that's what it boils down to with Optic. They are so buttoned up. They are always together. You will never find them solo. You're never going to have a 1v1. The team chemistry seems to be on top right now. Tony, incredible form.
Yeah, one thing we always know about Optic Gaming is that they're going to consistently be the most efficient team in the HCS. But what we didn't know going into this matchup is that they were going to out-assist FaZe by 50 assists, that their team was going to be on point, that even outslaying a team like FaZe by 20 to 30 kills. And to me, it was largely dead zone. Dead Zone with his combination of objective, his 66 kills, and his 50 assists himself was far beyond anybody else in the entire lobby. Dead Zone was my guy.
He really was your guy, Tony. I think he was everyone's guy on the green wall, that's for sure. I mean, his cheeky little flank there saved the day in that overtime because FaZe was starting to catch a little bit of a flow.
They were right there.
It was a little bit problematic at times, but that's what you need, that decision making, that cheeky little cut through, and he managed to squeak through green, and it was perfect.
But I do think, though, that this start right here from Optic Gaming was what the doctor ordered. It's exactly what they needed to kind of get them going quickly here. And then at that point, everyone else was starting to get a tag with the sniper, and they were having a ton of success with it. The efficiency with that power weapon in particular from Optic was something to marvel. And, well, those were those final moments there. And let me tell you, FaZe got so freaking close. But the fact that they had that hot start, and then Optic at that point, even when they were in a situation where they were down, they were, in a bad spot, they still found a way. We've constantly said resiliency. It stands true here in this game, too, despite them being in the lead. That was awesome to watch, and I'm excited for this winter finals.
Openings were created for Optic Gaming, and it really came down to Formal. Formal is having the most incredible tournament. Not only does he carry them through day one and really becomes that crutch, but right now, for me, he's an outlier. He is so good. Him with that sniper, especially in that final hill game, he was everything, Walshy. That was exactly what you need from Formal, opening things up with that sniper rifle, just not allowing FaZe to really get back into the mix. And also another thing is denying the fact that FaZe getting that sniper rifle in itself stopped them from getting back into the game too.
Absolutely. I mean, he started off that game, even though FaZe got that very first hill, Formal delayed that longer. He got that starting killing spree. He eventually gave, like I said, limited to no ammo back in that sniper in the hands of FaZe. And because of that, you saw that come back into play during hill number 2, where Optic were able to get hill number 2.
I think also when looking back at Atlanta and uncharacteristic gameplay, we're also seeing a similar story here on the side of Snakebite. Again, stats that just do not resemble really what he is also capable of. Everybody has a bad game, GP. It happens to the best of us, happened to the captain here. How much do you think that's feeding into this series?
Oh, it definitely is. I mean, I think, granted, I think Snakebite did a lot of good work despite him having that slow start on Solitude, right? but you can definitely tell that he never really found a rhythm in that game at all. And I think it's just, it could be a variety of different issues, but I will expect that this team is just going to make sure that whatever happened, they're going to readjust and get ready here. It was just a tough game for FaZe to play through. And I think it really plays back to what we were talking about before about the objective efficiency of Optic Gaming. They were all over them, man. Every single opportunity that Optic had to scrap up ball time, get into the hill, put pressure on their opponents, force mistakes out of FaZe. It was really just a thing of beauty. And I don't think Snakebite, having to think about all the different things that he's doing, like the calls, as well as, where we're looking, what we're trying to execute on. And then on top of that, trying to get those kills. Typically, he's amazing with that.
Yeah.
But, this game, it just wasn't his today.
It certainly wasn't indeed. Well, let's take a look right now at the bracket, see where we are lying after that incredible main stage match. Winner side of things, FaZe find themselves in the winners final with Shopify Rebellion. And Tony, you're looking a little bit puzzled there.
Well, yeah, because
Optic.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Hold on a second. I am also wait. Optic with Rebellion. Yes, sorry, that bracket is completely wrong. But elimination side of things, FaZe. There we go. In the quarterfinals, waiting for Native or Quadrant, and things looking pretty good for Native Gaming right now. Up 2-0 against Quadrant. Quadrant just really not having a very good Saturday, unfortunately. Pure, looking pretty rough as well. But Quadrant going up against Native Gaming, I kind of expected a little bit more from them, Walshy.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at some of those elimination round 1 upsets. You think of ITB taking out Sentinels. You think about Quadrant taking out Pure. Just some massive upsets there in that round 1.
Yeah, some big upsets. And then quarterfinals, Complexity versus Spacestation Gaming in the elimination bracket as well. How are you feeling about Cole going up against SSGGB?
That was our question coming into today, right? Was that, performance on Friday going to be a new era for Complexity? And look, I'm not going to count them out quite yet, but this is the toughest challenge without a doubt. Hey, you were able to beat Optic, right? So maybe, anything's possible. You can take out Space Station here. A lot of people will be pissed off, but hey, you got to win a tournament at the end of the day.
Anything is possible, and I've got to say, I think a Space Station with the back against the wall clearly has, some sort of mental fortitude that they have to really bunker down on, because Cloud9 were looking pretty good against Space Station Gaming as well. So a lot of questions to be asked here. They're getting set up, ready to go as well. But yeah, we're going to head to a quick break because I definitely need to have some water on this one, maybe some coffee to get me through this next match.
I know, man. I'm tired.
Yeah, I am also tired. There's been some crazy things that have been happening. We got Space Station Gaming coming up next versus Complexity. Go grab a drink, go grab a coffee. You don't want to miss this one. Will your hometown heroes continue on, or will Cole get the better of them? We'll see you after this.
This is the world's most advanced processor. In entertainment, its rendering speeds render other processors obsolete. It drives the future of autonomous driving, powers cloud services for billions, helps change the course of climate change, connects communities of gamers anytime, anywhere, and uses AI to accelerate disease detection and cures. We make the world's most advanced processors, but only with your vision can we advance the world. AMD, together we advance.
Halo fans, it's Clutch here, and we're back with another top 10 from the HCS Atlanta Major hosted by FaZe. At number 10, Druck back on American soil, back making plays. He's going to find the first 2 kills in the kill feed here. Wooten Mighties go down. We switch over to Druck's point of view. He's able to finally finish that triple. The jump to top mid is clean. The grenade is perfect. And he's able to one-shot Jimbo for the overkill. At number 9, it's still Pure, and it's Talik this time around. Winners quarterfinals against FaZe Clan up 2-0. Talik finds the first kill, slides, hits the no-scope to put a punctuation and send FaZe to the elimination bracket. At number 8, it's Lucid from Optic Gaming. Tommy Wilson and the terror he put on this event. Starts it off on streets. Cycle gets taken down. A beautiful nade as he patiently plays the double kill. Spots us the 3rd player, bottom middle, able to finish that triple kill. And as the spike grenade comes through, it creates the space for him to even get a fourth and unofficial overkill. At number 7, Collect from Bittersweet. Still making some noise as the young gun here as he finds himself against Native Gaming. The first kill is nice. The second, quick scope on the APG for the double. Finds a player, top dice. The transition to the triple is beautiful. Even hits the body for the O, but can't quite finish Gilk. At number 6, Dead Zone from Optic Gaming. Already dominating at 9-4-1. The double kill, no scope for the killing frenzy. At number 5, Formal from the Green Wall. It's a Green Wall top 10. Formal with the shock rifle finds the perfect kill on the Druck. He's going to be able to rotate here towards LR. He spots the player, hits another perfect shock rifle kill. Formal's forced to play his life as the other team tries to cap this hill. Formal tries to shut him down, kills all 4, but the point will go to Pure. At number 4, Stellar was always going to be here. Stellar has camo shock rifle, always making plays. Finds the first kill on the Gilkey, rotates on the barcode. 2 perfect shots from Stellar. Can we get a third? Thank you, tapping buttons as he goes down for the killing spree. At number 3, Dead Zone back in action. Dead Zone back making plays, and he's found himself the overshield here on Interference Strongholds. He's going to be able to jump back top middle. 5 perfect shots for the killing spree already, but he wants more. Second player gets down. Third player gets melted. Dead Zone with the thrust is beautiful, and the overkill comes through for another Dead Zone top 10 clip. Hope you don't get tired of me saying Dead Zone because he's back at number 2 as well. And what an event for this young man as he finds his 3rd clip in the top 10. This time it's on Live Fire. Optic Gaming versus Complexity Winners Corner Finals right now. Dead Zone has a snipe in hand. Ball trying to get rotated. Dead Zone shuts it down. Double kill for Dead Zone. A quick scope onto Huss. The triple kill comes through, and the overkill is disgusting onto Rain as Dead Zone finds himself another overkill. At number 1, it's Lucid with potentially the greatest clip I have ever seen in Halo Championship Series history. It starts from Middle's point of view. He's got snipe top tower. He gets a no shield, so he's going to try and throw this off the map. It doesn't quite make it. Lucid catches it in the air. Lucid then repositions top tower and starts to put that snipe to work. The first player eliminated. The second player spawns camo, dead. Third player called out back tower. Lucid finishes him up with a beautiful body. The fourth gets ripped for the overkill as Lucid takes down all 4 players in a disgusting form.
On lock, take 1, mark.
When you play someone and you know they're good, it's kind of annoying because you're like, wait, I don't know this guy, and he's like shitting on me. You're like looking at his account, he's like, he's not even a Smurf.
Legend with the double.
Make it 3. Oh! Legend is him.
The HCS Spacestation Gaming Salt Lake City Major is presented by AMD and Player X.
Hello folks and welcome back to the HCS Salt Lake City Major hosted by Spacestation Gaming, of course. And coming up next, you might be delighted, Space Station fans, because it is your home team on the main stage once again, fighting for their tournament life though, going up against Complexity. Joining me, I have Clutch, Jersey and Gaskin. Lads, we're into the last one of the night, I believe, and this one should be pretty good. I am hoping for a hot Complexity to come out because I want a good game. I don't want just an absolute whitewash of Space Station Gaming feeling themselves and getting back into the rhythm. I want a good game. Clutch, do you think we're going to see it?
Absolutely not. I think SSG are going to be on a tear. I think every team in this elimination bracket is going to blame Cloud9 for keeping the door open on a team that has no business continuing on through this elimination bracket. SSG, as they continue to gain momentum, they will be even harder to knock out, and I'm expecting them to make slight work of Complexity, and I fear for everybody that drops down in that elimination bracket, because SSG are going to come out for blood tomorrow as well.
You were teeing up that whole conversation, the Clutch, and
he
was smiling. He was smiling the whole time because he could see the wheel turn in his head. He was about to say something mean, and he was delighted to say it too. But listen, Complexity are the reason that SSG are sort of in this situation to begin with, right? They're the ones that upset the bracket, and that's the reason why SSG came up against a tougher test than they would have liked to in the upper side of the bracket. So now it's time for Complexity to maybe take some of their medicine, come up against SSG.
That is very true. I did know what I was doing, by the way. I did that for the SSG fans out
I
there,
faith in you. You know exactly that I'm going to shoot you straight here.
Of course I do. And I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm one step ahead of you. Let me just put it that way.
There's a lot of people in this venue one step ahead of me.
Gaskin, we have...
I'm one of them. I don't know.
We have a lot of hopes and dreams riding on this series to keep things alive for the hometown team. They've been performing really well, but when it comes down to it, they did get knocked down into the elim bracket, although it was a very close series with Optic Gaming. We just saw Optic Gaming 3-1 phase. They pushed them to the elimination bracket. So I do think that Space Station still have what it takes. I was a little surprised, though, with the deflated SSG we saw going up against Cloud9. What did you make of that series?
Yeah, I think that they were kind of amidst a hangover after what happened with Optic. We were lucky enough to watch them play against ITB on the B stream in Space Station 3-0'd ITB. It looked like one of the easiest series they've played so far, and I think Clutch may be right. Once they have been given that path back into the tournament by Cloud9, now they are going to tear through this elimination bracket, and everyone should be scared. However, Complexity did take down Optic Gaming, and Optic Gaming are now in the winners' final, so realistically, that's how it works, right? We'll go down that avenue again. No, it's tough because Complexity, it was a very different Optic that they faced against, so I think that they really need to be locked in here, but I think they'll be excited, and I'm very much looking forward to see what Breaking Shot can do in this one.
Yeah, I think after that series against Cloud9, we had the interview with Stellar, and he said, I'm paraphrasing, by the way, we have to get our stuff together. He used a different word, but I'm going to say stuff, because that's definitely more suitable for the broadcast. But they've definitely done that by 3-0ing ITB, who up until that point looked pretty good. So it's only testament to how good SSG were to turn their fortunes around and put them to the sword pretty quickly.
Certainly does indeed. I think on the side of Complexity, they're going to have to deal with a kind of battle-heavy, resistant team from Spacestation Gaming, who, yes, have already been deflated, and that kind of came in the form of Cloud9, who were able to try to capitalize on that, failed to do so, and then now we're seeing Complexity having to kind of run in here and see what they can make. How do you capitalize on mistakes that are rarely made by Space Station?
I think you got to come out hot. I think you have to convince SSG that you belong in this series, because if you don't, I think you're going to get disrespected pretty quickly. It's not very often you see a graphic where SSG have a losing record in any game type, so this is a potential opportunity, I would say, for Complexity, but still, I think the individual skill and the pace of SSG is going to be extremely difficult for Complexity to deal with, especially having the last time I've seen Complexity play, they got kind of stomped by Shopify, and I expect SSG to do very similar.
Indeed. I've got to say one name that has been tossed around the desk already, which is Breaking Shot, has been a breakout player for this Complexity roster. I think, to me, he has been something that they have needed, to be perfectly honest, to pop off. That stardom, that pop-off potential is huge when you're coming into big series like this. But it's also important to be able to then play around your star player, to be able to have that teamwork. We often see that with Optic, like we just saw on the main stage, Formal popping off and being able to work around that and do something with it. This is going to be so important for Cole. How are you feeling about Breaking Shot, how he's been so consistent so far this season?
Yeah, I think it's one thing to showcase your skills against, that 12 to 16 seed. You get double positive stats, and you think, oh, well, you're kind of expected to do that. But when you're playing against Optic Gaming and you're getting 27 and 14, that's the kind of stat line that you sit up and you pay attention. And for Breaking Shot, Ryan New spoke about, that's why they brought him in, and they were hoping that he could do it more consistently. Well, if this tournament is anything to go by, he has a really bright future.
Indeed, he does. Now, on the side of Space Station Gaming, though, who was doing really well against ITB? Gaskin, do you remember who was really popping off? Or there was a particular person?
Bound kept on his form from the previous, right? I mean, it was that final Slayer game where I mentioned the statistics of Bound, his average on that Slayer live fire. He carried on that same momentum into the series and really looked like a different beast. Bound didn't want to go out, and I think that was evident. No one wants to go out, but he kind of just locked in and said, look, I'm going to focus. I'm going to prove why I was added to this team in the first place all the way back when, and he has been a different beast so far today, and I think that they needed someone like that to really elevate them and put them back in the tournament here. Would you agree, Shurs?
Yeah, I think them toppling out with top 12 would have been absolutely unthinkable to any of them players, and I would wager that would be some of their worst placements in a tournament, particularly a major. Maybe not Legend, because he, of course, would have been having some experiences in Europe, but Eco and Stellar, a top 12 finish. Are you joking me?
That hasn't happened for a very, very long time, and by the skin of their teeth, it didn't happen today. But as we take a look at the series layout, Empyrean CTF will be game one. Complexity probably looked at that like an opportunity. I believe that was game one. Yeah. And with that as the opportunity, I think that they have a lot of history in the Halo 3 form of the pit. So you're maybe trying to look at the bright side and maybe a light at the end of the tunnel as that being an opportunistic game type. But I fear with the more S7s that come into play in this series, the more damage SSG will do.
I think they're going to have to really rely on that map number 1, because map number 2, the 7-1 SSG in that live fire Slayer, that is going to be a tough one to crack. But crack, they will have to. Shurzy, Gaskin, it's over to you.
Well, whether they're cracking or breaking eggs and making omelets, one thing we do know, game 1 Empyrean CTF. And an issue I do have, Dan, is SSG played against Sentinels yesterday. 3-1 was the score, but that game ended very quickly, so SSG know exactly how to play this map, and they might be one of the best at it.
One of the best to do it. What do Complexity have left in their tank then? They've been put through the ringers with all their matches so far.
Shields up, weapons hot.
I was gonna say it.
No, you're underway.
A chance now for SSG to show what they are made of and show why they should be progressing further into this tournament. And they've already got an overshield to work with right at the start of this game. Are we going to see an SSG that is just going to walk over Complexity here, or will Complexity turn up just like they did against Optic Gaming on day 1?
Stellar still has a bit of overshield to play with. Rain's going to try and run that flag. Try as he might, he's going to lose his face. Gets his wig well and truly peeled. Breaking shot could be the latest victim of Stellar's sniper rifle. Will delay his death for now, but that's all he's going to do, because he is eventually going to end up in the crosshairs of SSG's.
At the moment, Stellar just eyes trained on trying to take everyone of this Complexity roster out with his sniper rifle. Rain maybe going to be the next target. Doesn't quite connect with that one, but the flag is moving. And Eco's got that information, so he's not going to run it. Instead, he's just going to make sure he gets that kill. But it is SSG who have a little bit more control to begin with, but Complexity have certainly defended well here.
Rhino, last man standing in the green box, down to no shields. Gonna try and do some damage on the way out, and he did so, got bound down to no shields. Unfortunately for him though, no teammates there to capitalize the damage that he had done. Huss off the respawn, and Mauler moves towards long haul, but has a lot of guns trained on him. He's not long for the life. 3 dead now. Rhino again the last man standing, but again not for long as he falls. 4 dead for a moment for Complexity. Bound picks up flag, and that thing's on the move.
Ooh, a little fumble. Will allow Complexity off spawn maybe to get an angle, but Bound is going to have the cover and should be able to get this one down long haul, but just needs to work back. Notices that a couple of his teammates have taken some damage here, and I wonder if that small delay may have just stopped him getting a little bit further down, but it may not matter because 3 have fallen yet again. Rain has got behind enemy lines, but he should be swiftly dealt with by Stellar. And this is going to be a cap.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. SSG take the lead here. And you spoke about Bound in the last series against ITB, how he continued his dominance in his form, not wanting to go out with top 12. 8-1-1 to start off the rip. That's a pace setter, that's a statement maker.
And as a reminder, both of these teams are currently in top 6, so this is playing for top 4. You will then be facing off against potentially FaZe Clan for top 3 with how that elimination bracket is lining up, but of course, you've still got the likes of Native alive, and Eco still has this flag alive, and it's going to be 2-0. So comfortable, so easy at the moment. Arguably too easy to get these flags home.
Eco nursing that flag all the way home. Do Complexity have a response here? Or will they fall the same victim that Sentinels did yesterday? The game over in a flash. They have got to find a response. Huss is going to try and get the sniper rifle, but he's got to start hitting some shots, and little does he know, Bound is right behind him.
Bound on 11-1 at the moment. Could very soon be 12, and it will be, and now you've just rewarded him with a sniper rifle, and Bound's probably thinking, you know, I could run this flag, but maybe I could just keep going with the stats. Again, it's just another mishap with the flag, but at this point, I don't think it really matters, as again, Bound will be running it home, and this has just been too easy.
Simple stuff. Kills are being happening around the map. Ryan Noob's going to try and get the pull. He will get there. Killing frenzy for Bound. And he's got teammates there to get the return. Just slammed this one in. Complexity are trying to make this difficult. They've gone 3 dead, and they might have been successful stopping this flag cap.
Well, I said it was too easy. Complexity have just been able to do a little bit of something right at the death. But SSG, they try and send everything, and the re will come through, so it won't be game over just yet. Complexity may be coming to life just at the right time here. Looked like they were down, looked like they were out, but now they just keep things going.
Have they only delayed the inevitable, though? That's the question. Currently being outslayed 35-18.
I mean, they've certainly given Bound the chance to get even more kills on the board here. I'm not sure he's going to be complaining, as he was almost blaming.
That's good from you. Good from you. Breaking shot, S1. Gets his shield ripped right from him. Huss is there too. As a matter of fact, 3 members of Complexity situated over towards the snipe side. And that will mean Space Station can start to squeeze and pinch from the high side.
Oh! Bound is just on a tear. You don't really want to face him in a 1v1 right now. But Complexity have been able to wrestle back a little bit of map control. There's currently a fiesta happening over towards Sword side. But that means that Space Station are not in a position to be dominating their flag like they had been previously. Overshield's going to be coming up though. Bad news for Complexity fans. It's in Stella's hands.
And now it's in his chest. He's got a repulsor to play with, and you know he's going to be looking to use that in the rocket player. 2 rockets, swing and a miss. No damage really done from it. I'm going to try and garner an advantage another way. The overshield player was nullified, and perhaps that's the opening they need. Because right now, they have just been clinging on in this game, but they have got to start being the aggressor in these situations.
One flag, though, can just change everything. Of course, we saw earlier when Space Station were going up against Cloud9. They had a 2-0 lead on Aquarius, and suddenly that dissipated right in front of their very eyes. Slightly different here on Empyrean, though. Takes a little bit longer to get that flag from point A to point B, and the spawns can be very tricky to deal with as well. 6 minutes still left, though, so plenty of time for Complexity to work with, and I wonder, could SSG have got that flag back, that 3rd flag back, that little bit faster to put this game to bed? But now it just gives the Complexity the chance to try and make a comeback.
Opted again to try and run this flag under bridge. This time it's been more successful. They've got it further. Last time Rain tried to make this run, he got his face peeled. Bound's gotten a kill, though. 2 dead for Complexity. The remaining 2 members going to try and have to stay alive, but 3 dead. Ryan Noob, last man standing.
Was temporarily 4, and Ryan Noob the first one up. And he's actually going to be spawning over towards Needles. And that means they're going to get collapsed on, and it's probably going to be a little bit of a split spawn, but they do fight well back-to-back, Rain and Ryan Noob. They've been doing that for years.
A little bit of ore and ore. Stellar dies in green box. Ryan Noob can then push forward. Has aspirations of getting in that base and pulling the flag, but unfortunately for him, pushed all the way back to the respawn screen.
Flag's going to get returned. And it's job done for SSG, just making sure that one didn't go too far. Or for Complexity, excuse me. But I will say this sword has been the focus point for both these teams ever since that SSG lost that control of the flag side. And maybe Complexity should just say, you know what, screw it. We'll let you have sword control and we'll just try and push down long haul a bit, get green control, but then this is what can happen. So you leave yourself very vulnerable to the pinch.
You know Space Station have intentions of making it to the grand finals. And they're going to have to do it the hard way. We mentioned it before, but no team has ever won a major championships outside of FaZe Clan at Worlds. Every major the Space Station have ever won in Halo Infinite has been through the winner's side. That's how big an advantage having that winner's side is. They're going to have to do it the hard way. They're going to have to do it the long way. And right now, they're having to do a brawl and a grueling run through the elimination bracket. But speaking of run, Bound's got the flag, and he's almost got it all the way home.
Yeah, you speak about the long way. It'll be the long haul as the avenue, as the route, as the third flag is finally put in. It almost felt like Complexity were just delaying the inevitable, as it was a very one-sided affair. 68-40 in terms of slays. Bound had a field day, and SSG take a 1-0 lead in this series.
And it is times like this, in series like this, that you look towards players to be the point of difference. And Bound, in more series than one now, has been that man. Really matured over the course of Halo Infinite's lifespan. And he is a special talent, Dan.
He really is, and we're going into Slayer Livefire again, which is exactly where we left off in that previous series with Cloud9, where Bound was on a tear. And he just seems like he's gone from strength to strength so far this tournament. Maybe had some quiet games to begin with, and perhaps that's why SSG find themselves in the elimination bracket in the first place. And of course, the whole team doesn't just arrive around Bound. It is not all going to be about him, but he can make such a big difference with the amount of slaying power that he has to offer. But he was constantly in the face of Complexity during this game, always pulling that flag as well, and happy to run the objective for the team.
Yesterday, in an interview with Blaze, they had Ryan Noob speaking, and he said after the victory over Optic Gaming and Quadrant, he was unsure whether they were overperforming or the teams they played against were underperforming. Well, one thing we do know is Spacestation Gaming are not overlooking them here.
Spacestation want to get to bed, they want to get some rest, and they want to start thinking about Championship Sunday, and perhaps that's why we saw a very quick and efficient start to CTF Empyrean. The Spartans are locked and loaded as well, as the SSG fans staying late into the night here in Salt Lake City to support their team. Slayer Livefire is where we head for game number 2. And as Lottie alluded to on the desk, it is one of the better Slayer modes for this team. They are 7-1 across the season. And we will again be focusing on Bound, because that average of 14 kills per game on this map is pretty insane.
Well, we don't have long to wait. Loading into game number 2. And this one could be a real swing game for Complexity, because if they go down 0-2, they are in big trouble of being eliminated here and now. They need to wake up, and they need to have a better account of themselves in game 2. But for Space Station, you go back to the recipe that's brought you success time and time again, and you get the job done here in the Slayer.
Just allow it to be Bound's playground, allow him to roam free. And one way to stop that is sending 2 players to try and shut him down immediately, but he still gets the trade. But it will be the early engagement going in favor of Complexity. As I say that, Stella just shuts down the member of those top middle. And the real question will be is, where does this sniper rifle end up? It actually gets repulsed towards them and falls into the hands of Stella. That's never good.
Not even Amazon have that good delivery. Stella would snipe though. Huss! You're going back to the respawn screen. Fade to black. Stellar has the run of top middle. 3 dead for Complexity for a moment. And Eco's got the camouflage. This is bad news bears for Complexity.
Stellar's just taken another head off as well. Sniper rifle, camouflage, and Bound. And you throw in Legend into the mix. It's the perfect concoction for destruction here. As Eco takes down one more, it's a 4-kill lead here for SSG. Complexity already on the back foot, or as Clutch would say, the back heel.
Back feet, he says. We've had this conversation at great lengths. That's not the expression, Wes. And he keeps doubling down, tripling down. He's trying to talk through the microphone, but nobody can hear him. And I promise you, he's not agreeing with us. Rains down to no shields, and now no life. Player swords out scoreboard, equals the odds. Sniper rifle has transitioned over towards Huss. Now, what can he do with it? Can he be as efficient? Can he have the same kind of precision as a player like Stellar? The answer's no for now.
Yeah, we found out pretty quickly, and all that ammo is going to be gone as Bound again doing Bound things. Surely not only the double, but he will feed that information to the robot himself, Eco. Always looking to try and exterminate someone on his way and on his route in, and he will find another player in his path. So it's 18-13. And I think Clutch may have hit the nail on the head with SSG being given a ticket back into this tournament, with Cloud9 not quite closing out I think it gave new life into this SSG roster who started to believe, hey, we can still go on, we can run this gauntlet, and we can still win this tournament.
It's almost like they're playing on house money here. That's how close they came on 2 occasions against C9, who no doubt are kicking themselves in the back, because those opportunities do not come around enough. Stellar though, camouflage, just locked in a double kill as well. And they keep picking up the camouflage and the sniper rifle. And it's really starting to be a problem for Complexity.
And you said kicking yourself in the back. Difficult to do. Have you ever tried it? You just kicked an entire chair onto Lottie.
I tried.
Are you okay?
I'll probably kill Lottie.
Literally. That's the best thing I've ever seen. Anyway, back into the game. But Complexity try as they might, but they run into Stellar. The triple for the man. And maybe he's going to be the one who takes the plaudits.
Helmet snipe then. Sells for a trade. That's good enough. What can Stellar do? They've already got such a massive lead here. You can't see them throwing it away. Complexity have got it all to do. It's a long road back in this game. But it's not over just yet.
Good pressure from Complexity. I mean, they don't fear a space station. They're not scared to take this fight. Sadly, you are going up against a team who are just so individually powerful, and then when you put them all together, it's almost like Thanos' gauntlet. You just turn into a different beast and can take down whoever they face. With a deficit like 8 kills, you want to slow this game down. You want to try and slow this pace from Space Station, and it's very difficult to do.
Legend uses the QT, repositions. Continues to do damage, gets 2. 3 dead for Complexity. You've got to stop Legend making plays like that.
It's so difficult to do though. All of them now on SSG are picking up double kills, triple kills, the multi-kills galore. As they're starting to feel themselves, starting to kind of match that pace that we would expect from them right at the start of this tournament. Breaking Shot just try as he might to escape. You cannot avoid Legend. He's inevitable.
And every time I look towards Complexity, they're 3 dead, 4 dead. They've really not been able to breathe. And that's the pacing difference. Playstyle-wise, Space Station Gaming are a nightmare for a team like Complexity. They just keep on holding forward. They do not let you breathe. They suffocate you. They continue to do it now. 3 kills required.
Start to chalk it up, start to think about map 3. This one, there's not going to be a comeback. There's no miraculous story for Complexity, especially with Legend having the camouflage as well. The final 2 get punched home as SSG now 1 map away from finding themselves 1 step closer towards Championship Sunday.
Slayer in the bag. Games 1 and 2 successful. Work almost complete for the night. 1 game left then for SSG. For Complexity, they really need to wake up because they are on the brink of elimination here.
Certainly difficult to do late into the night as well, but you have to dig deep. You have to try and find something, but it's difficult when SSG are playing in this way. They do not even give you an inch, so you're not going to be able to take a mile. As we look back at some of the highlights, I mean, there was a lot of individual prowess from these players. I mean, SSG, every single one of those players on your screen was pulling off something dirty the further we got into that game. They were almost competing with one another to see who could pull off something crazier.
Really was multi-kill after multi-kill. Stellar get putting in work, then it was Legend. It was like they were taking turns. Really did what they wanted to Complexity with very little fuss. But game 3 on the horizon, Dan, please tell me it looks a little bit better for Complexity.
It's going to be Strongholds interference for game number 3. And I'd like to tell you that does look better for Complexity, but I think we know full well that this is the bread and butter of this roster. Players who not only were very familiar in with Halo 5, but dominated, won championships in this game. And I think that maybe we are looking at a potential 3-0 here, which would be a sad ending to Complexity's tournament, of course, after the brilliant start they had against Optic Gaming when they went against all odds. And really, the whole reason this bracket is in this place was because of Complexity. But maybe now this could be their last map, unless they are able to find a little bit of that magic that we saw yesterday.
Maybe this series has just been one step too far for Complexity. We're about to find out, because they're on the ropes and Space Station have not finished throwing punches. Are they about to hit the map for the third and final time, or do they still have some fight left in them?
We need to see something from Complexity, otherwise SSG will run rampant here. They are a devastating team to play against, especially on Strongholds interference. And if they get going, this could get ugly. Already, one on the board for Legend. Gets an assist alongside it. And it's going to be 4 dead for Complexity. And maybe this one really could get ugly.
Lottie asked Clutch at the start of the series, do Complexity have a chance? And he almost laughed. He said, absolutely not. And I hate it when he's right. But Complexity have not looked good enough. Space Station have just looked like a class above here in this series. It's almost like they don't belong on the same server.
Well, I think it's a case of, it's not Complexity not looking good enough. It's Space Station looking too good. And what we expected from Space Station all tournament long. When they were letting the likes of Cloud9 get into these games, I think that we were all scratching our head a little bit. Hold on a second, that's going to be a triple. Maybe an over waiting for Bound here, but does get stolen away. But 44 points already on the board here, Schurz, and I think you're right. There is a difference in class between these two teams.
Different gravy. Triple Cat locked in. And Complexity are spawning in the worst place on the map. That's down in the bunker, because there's very little avenues and routes that you can take that will get you out of trouble. Stellar gets 2. Rhino will answer back with a grenade, but he is already in the respawn screen. Again, Complexity go 3 dead, 4 dead. They cannot find their footing here.
And whilst it has been a tournament of incredible games, incredible upsets, we are starting to get to the business end, and once more it seems to be the same old familiar faces, the same old big names that are getting to the latter stages of this tournament. SSG would be locking in a top 4 guaranteed. FaZe will be playing native for top 4, and then of course we have Optic and Shopify in that winners bracket. The same big 4, as we have to give that to Shopify now. They have put themselves up there, but it's 155-0 here. And it is hard to ignore the dominance that we are currently witnessing on our screens.
It's another triple kill, excuse me, for Bound.
And a triple cap.
And a triple cap is right. Huss is trying to change that, as is Rain. But now all members of Complexity are really where Space Station Gaming want them to be. Huss is situated over towards bottom tower. Legend's going to get that kill. They're just not winning the 1v1 engagements. Outmatched, outgunned, outfought here. Double kill for Eco. He can step in, capture A for free, and they're going to spawn outside once more.
Dare I say, I almost saw a smile from Eco there as he managed to put that second bullet in to get the double kill. It's a trip cap yet again. The SSG chants are once more echoing around the arena here in Salt Lake City, because the fans definitely have something to scream and shout about here. This has been one of the top performances from one of the top teams here at this tournament.
Members of Complexity all trying to run away, and somehow Eco is playing swap every single player down to no shields. The best they've been able to do all game long is get one single stronghold. It's a killing spree for Eco. And breaking shots not long for the world either. They capture A again, but it's all for naught. Space Station keep on scoring, and Complexity remain in the blender.
And this may well be a 250-0 here to finish off the day. What a performance it's been.
It's an absolute rout, and Space Station Gaming complete the clean sweep, and they put Complexity to the sword. They progress, and Complexity go home.
It is a shame for Complexity to exit the tournament in that way after putting on such an incredible display for us yesterday. Alas, when you come across an SSG team playing in this manner, it is difficult to even get a kill on the board, let alone a point, let alone a flag. extremely one-sided in the end, but a top 6 for Complexity, and it is them bettering themselves from the previous event where they got top 8. So as they look towards the World Championships, maybe there they can go one step further and break into that top 4. But for now, it is all about Space Station, and it is all about the hometown heroes, and it's a good time to chat with someone on the stage. Blaze, who have you got?
I got the big brain himself. It's Eco on the main stage with me as SSG punches their ticket in a Sunday. Make some noise for him, Salt Lake. Now, it ain't much for us to talk about that series. It was a masterclass of Halo. You know, you guys look like the defending champions of Salt Lake, of Arlington, of Atlanta. That's simple. But when it comes down to you and your squad's performance, it's the first time I got to talk to you today. How are you feeling with the squad? What would you grade yourself on your performance so far making it to Sunday, and how you feel going into that?
I mean, I think we're playing pretty well. You know, we lost a series earlier to Optic. You know, they're great. They played it good. We should have probably won every game, to be honest. I could probably be playing a little better, to be honest. But yeah, I think we're playing great. You know, just grind it out. It's a tournament. You know, got a loser's bracket for a reason. We've been here before. You know, more Halo to play, you know?
Yeah, more Halo to play. You've been here before, okay? And, you know, you put the blame on your shoulder saying, you know what, I could be playing better. Now, an important question here, going into Sunday, what's going to be your first meal of the day? First meal of the day. What you going to eat?
Definitely not what I've been eating. I mean, probably just some, you know, basic eggs, toast, bagel, just basic stuff, you know.
Basic stuff, okay? You know, for a great performance, keeping it simple, not doing nothing too special there, all right? I know you guys are going to be playing lights out, and I know you want to get your rest, but when it comes down to these fans in the crowd and the fans at home, everyone that's supporting you, what you want to say to them as they get ready for Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, like we always say, we hear you, we appreciate you, it does help. We won't let you down.
They're not going to let you down, Salt Lake City. That's going to do it for me and Eco on the stage. Lot, close us out.
Thank you, Blaze. There's only one word for what we just witnessed. Disgusting.
I got a lot of words for what we just witnessed.
You didn't even let me get my word out. Can you believe this? Can you just 1 second? Disgusting.
That was disgusting. You're right.
There we go. Thank you very much. Disgusting. I mean, Spacestation Gaming looking insane. Yeah, they had one blip. It went down to the wire earlier on, but from then on, it has just been pure dominance. It's exactly what you want to see in a bounce back from Spacestation Gaming to keep their tournament alive. And not only tournament, but it is their hometown tournament. This is a big deal for them. The one before Worlds, we kind of talk about the Worlds curse and, you know, who's going to win the one before then? Does it mean you're going to kind of put your head down and you won't win Worlds itself? Well, we get to really see back-to-backs happen, and we really want to see that from Spacestation Gaming here. And they're on that right path. Wes, talk about the gameplay, because this just really was an annihilation by Spacestation Gaming.
Yeah, these guys are warmed up, they're fired up, and they want to make this crowd as loud as it can be for Sunday, and they did just that with this example here. It was triple after highlight reel here. Difference in classes, Dan and Schurz were saying in the broadcast, and couldn't agree more. This was a separation of the big dogs and the little pups, and the big dogs came out shooting.
They certainly did indeed. Listen, I asked for a good series. I did.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, because I did it for Space Station fans. For you to be able to cut me down like that and deny the incredible series that I was hoping for to close things out. But it's okay, because we saw some crazy things. Something I also have learned today and from yesterday is you don't want to face Space Station on interference.
No.
They are actually nasty on interference. Gaskin, I mean, their pacing, it's perfect. The fact that they can also separate perfectly, win their ones, get you on that respawn cycle. They know exactly where you're going to be. They catch you out every time. That was really, really hard to watch if you're a Complexity fan.
Yeah, I think Complexity are lucky they had a Slayer there, because they didn't get a flag, they didn't get a point on Strongholds. They thankfully got some kills during the Slayer, but had we had 3 objectives, we might have seen one of the most one-sided series of all time here in HCS history. It was a dominant one, and it's, as I mentioned, a sad way to see Complexity exit. And again, this whole bracket is messed up because of Complexity anyway. They shouldn't be playing SSG at this point, but alas, here they are, and they will be dominated, and they're very one-sided statistics, of course.
Very one-sided statistics. I will say something that is sticking out to me is, of course, our unlocked episode boy. And that is Legend. Again, highest KD on his team. And I just want to say, it's not easy to come off as the top every single time for your team with the names that are on that roster. So Legend, taking that every single time, that consistency of this man's performance, it is key for the Space Station Gaming roster.
He's actually having a great tournament once again. It's the rest of Space Station that I think has picked up their level of play throughout this elimination bracket run. They're going to need every bit of all four of those guys if they have intentions of winning tomorrow. It's going to be a long Sunday for those guys, but I have no doubt if they play like they are right now, they're going to be a very difficult out for anyone, and I believe their next match is probably going to be against FaZe if FaZe can pull off the win against Native.
Yeah, that is going to be a really crazy matchup. And in fact, the first, I think, believe that we have seen this season of Space Station versus FaZe. Am I correct in saying that, or am I crazy?
The first time these two teams have matched up at all will be in the elimination bracket.
That is insane to think about. We really don't have any stats. We have nothing to really go off. But honestly, just preferences of a series layout, to be perfectly honest. And sure, to think about that is nuts.
Yeah, I'm not even sure these two teams scrim much online.
No.
I think we don't really get a taste of this matchup at all. And I think we've been starved of it for so long, and we'd be forgiven for thinking this would be a winners finals matchup or a elimination finals maybe, but they've matched each other here and now. That's incredible, and I think to send one of these two teams home, that's frightening.
Well, we don't have that matchup just yet. We still have FaZe to play Native Gaming, and Native Gaming are looking like a different Native Gaming. I'm still not going to give them much of a chance in the series against FaZe, but they have done impressive things in their own elimination bracket run. And as I say that, we are going to be able to red zone this opportunity here. Elimination bracket match, FaZe versus Native for a chance at Championship Sunday to a ticket to the dance for SLC's trophy.
1-1 as we jump in, and Renegade manages to take tapping Buttons' body, and now we're going to see an attempted pull at the same time. But if we were to see Native Gaming win this, by the way, it would be one of the craziest runs that we've seen in an elimination bracket as well. I mean, Native Gaming, from a team that wasn't even qualifying for pool play for the last couple of events, finally find themselves within pool play. They qualify for Worlds. They break that curse of finishing top 12. And now they're fighting FaZe Clan for top 4 here.
And what a great game type for Native to see. Gilkey, known for going off on Empyrean on Pit for so long throughout his career. This is his map, his bread and butter when he can find the snipe. You can best believe, as we're joining this in the middle of this game, Gilkey at 21-13 has got to have made some plays to keep this at a 1-1 game.
And we watched some of what Gilkey was doing against Quadrant, and he was putting in impressive performance, actually on this map mode as well, and he had the snipe rifle, hitting incredible shots. And they're going to need him in this series, because FaZe Clan, much like your Optics and your Space Stations of the world, they do not give you too many opportunities in a series like this, and you've got to have someone who will capitalize on them. As a matter of fact, you might need all 4 of your players to capitalize on them.
We might be heading to overtime here in this first matchup as well, as both teams just kind of sitting back, seeing if anyone else is going to make a move, make a play to try and get a flag in these final moments. But it looks like a little bit of a standoff, as FaZe Clan happy to sit back. Because what it does allow, if you go to overtime, you get the reset, you get the fresh start, as a lot of teams usually bank on their starting strategies.
20 seconds to go right now, and really just a battle for no mistakes being made. But as I say that, 2 go down on the side of Native, and here comes Renegade. He's got Gilkey on the flag, and they know the last player alive is Gilkey on this flag. Renegade's going to have this information, but they got to get this kill. Renegade gets hit by a grenade, unfortunately, so he is going to try and pull that flag. He gets taken down by the respawners that lifted up top tower. Gilkey is dealt with, but the respawners of Native have now time to impact the rest of this run. Snakebite is going to get taken down, and as that pie chart continues to tick, we are guaranteed to go to sudden death overtime.
Overtime is where we will be heading then. Can't separate the two thus far. And I think you're right, Wes. I mean, to start on Empyrean CTF is just perfect for Native Gaming, and they've had a great run in terms of their tournament. They take down Alpha Esports, who had looked so good coming into today. They had looked like a team that could really disrupt that top 12, and then they beat Quadrant, who, by the way, had just 3-0'd Pure, and now they find themselves competing against FaZe Clan here for top 4.
I think one player I want to highlight after his previous performance is Snakebite. You know he feels like he underperformed statistically. You know he's feeling that. He is a perfectionist. And he'd be looking to right those wrongs here. Get his team back on track, because they do not want to be in this elimination bracket. But now that they've found themselves here, they can take some solace knowing that they're the only team who ever have won a tournament from the elimination side. So they already have the evidence that they can do it. So if these players find some form, they can definitely go on a run.
We're in sudden death, and Frosty's starting to make plays. He finds 3 and has got that flag on the move. It's Renegade that's able to pick it up from where Frosty left off. Renegade's going to punch this one in, and that's going to go game 1 to FaZe in overtime, but it's on the back of Frosty making some plays there in that ending sequence with that snipe.
I'm also not surprised, I think, for a couple of reasons that Native were able to kind of retain themselves in that game. I think FaZe like Empyrean CTF. I think they see that and think, good, redemption. Love that map 1 for us. Honestly, we're pretty good at that. But I'm not surprised that Native were able to answer back, because it just takes a second to shake off some of the problems that we saw occurring on the main stage against Optic Gaming. Teamwork was not there. This is exactly what we're looking out for from this team right now, is how can you work together? Stop being so solo. Let's see some challenges, but let's see some teamwork challenges together as well. Some team shots would be very, very nice. Native Gaming, they're still in this. This is only 1 map down for them. Do you see them going the distance with FaZe shows?
I definitely think they can be a problem, and if they win that Slayer, I think we're talking about the Native Gaming of the past. Probably not. This is a 3-0 series, but with how they've been playing this tournament, they look like a different beast entirely, and I wouldn't be backing against them. With how FaZe have been playing a little bit on the slower side, I think that they could definitely be in with a chance.
Momentum does something for teams too. I think that's something to be said. I've been keeping up with Twitter and having a look at tweets. Barcode's been tweeting he is delighted at the progress that they're showing in this tournament. And I think feeling the vibes like that, knowing that the hard work is paying off, even if it's in increments, even though you're in the elimination bracket, the fact you've survived this long, considering the season you've had as Native Gaming, Gaskin, there's something to be said in that. There's also a mentality that could maybe carry them through this series.
It gives them something to work on going into Worlds, right? They aren't going to split up. I mean, had they not made it here, I'm going to be honest, there might have been changes happening. I don't know how the rules work in terms of those changes, but could have happened. But alas, they have performed where we expect. They've got that little bit further, and now they still have a chance to get to top 4. And I tell you what, it'd be amazing to see APG back on a championship Sunday, but getting through FaZe Clan is going to be an entirely different beast. But at least now they have something to build from, Native Gaming, and I'm delighted for them.
I think you were talking about Barcode putting out tweets, and even if it's just a simple placebo, but having a different shift in attitude, now that you start to feel like we're actually playing better, and the results may eventually follow that because your attitude has changed and you're now enjoying playing the game with your teammates. So the results are speaking for themselves here for Native Gaming. They're still in this sucker, and they're up against FaZe Clan here, trying to make it a difficult task for them.
Talking about a different shift here, next is Slayer Live Fire. The only mode that they managed to win against Optic Gaming did FaZe. And also, Snakebite uncharacteristically having a really rough Slayer game against Optic, and that really was the start of kind of his problems that we saw in that series. But yesterday had a phenomenal Game 5 Slayer against Pure. Can we see a redemption arc out of Snakebite the General? What will be happening with FaZe? We're going to find out.
Snakebite doesn't have very often bad performances, and one to recall against Optic is one to forget, in my opinion. His team owed him one after that Game 5 that he got his team across the border against Pure on Friday, but now tapping buttons, able to start this one with the snipe, but Snakebite's going to be the exact player that rips it out of his hands. Snakebite's going to be jumping up top cuts, has to deal with APG, just does that as 3 go down for Native Gaming. It's going to be camo in the hands of FaZe for sure.
Is one of the better Slayer game types for FaZe Clan as well, only really behind Space Station when it comes to Slayer Live Fire. So if they are to go 2-0 up here, I mean, I think it's been a good series layout for them to kick things off. And Native Gaming, maybe they need to try and really shut down the ability from FaZe Clan to just dominate in terms of some of the pressure that they can put on teams. And shutting down the camouflage is going to be important too. You can't allow it to be too freely grabbed here.
You speak about shutting down players, but what Native were trying to do there is slow the game down and negate the opportunities that Frosty had with the camouflage. The longer they run that clock down, the less influence he could have. Now, the issue you do have is FaZe have already taken the lead here. And what Native have got to be worried about, got to be cognizant of, is you cannot let FaZe Clan build an early lead and really get away from you here.
Yeah, right now we're seeing FaZe really play a controlled game of Live Fire Slayer. A great job to spawn 2 players green. They were able to pick up those 2 kills off screen, and now they spawn them all in house. There's containment going on. FaZe are playing at their own pace, and this is something that Native Gaming need to figure out a way to disrupt.
It's a slight lead at the moment, but Native Gaming definitely have what it takes to get back into it in this passage of play here, because they've got the opening, they're going to have the advantage, and this is where you need to capitalize. You really need to be pressing these advantages when they are presented to you. When it's not very often You're not going to have a FaZe Clan member on the map that's going to be able to turn things around. So now you get the aggression coming out of Native Gaming, and this is a little bit better. They take the lead.
Frosty dips away, down to no shields. Tapping button's going to chase, and Frosty's not going to get far. And that's good listening, good communication from Native Gaming to hunt down those no-shielded players. Do not let them get away. Clean up the pieces when you can. Gilkey, as comfortable as he is on Imperium with the sniper rifle, he's not too bad on live fire either. Currently 6-1-2, and if he can continue in that vein, the Native Gaming have a real chance here, but remote detonation from Renegade, heads up play from the Demon.
Yeah, not only is that a big kill from Renegade, but they get 2 down, make it 3 down. Beautiful shots from Royal 2. As camo is coming up, they should be able to secure this. Renegade might have been that player to get that camo. Did he burn? It's the question. Royal 2 finding another one to push off any Native Gaming presence that might have been able to make a play. It does appear that camo was burned. And as we switch point of views onto Gilkey, Barco's going to be able to pick up that snipe and bring it back to tower with a 1-kill lead in FaZe's favor. Native are still in this game and in a favorable position now with the S7.
And they really need to keep this sniper rifle out of the hands of FaZe Clan. They can't allow them to just walk away with it. And I wouldn't blame them if they waste ammo, which is what we're going to see from Barco.
I was almost wondering there whether he was going to give that sniper rifle to Gilkey, who already had control of top tower. And perhaps Gilkey staying there too long and Barco, both of them having too much of a similar angle, invited the pressure on from FaZe. A 1-kill game now. Nothing to separate them. Barcode still has some sniper rifle ammo to play with.
2 shots in the chamber. Roll 2 peeking out big door. You got to be careful here. Barcode's looking for this angle specifically. He's going to relocate once he's been spotted. But FaZe slowing this game down once again. They do not want to give any free kills over to Barcode here as Barcode continues to hold this big door presence. What is FaZe's plan is the question. As you see multiple members in the observer mode rotating towards that cuts area, this is where the hit's going to be.
I mean, they've got time. They can play with it here. They don't need to push. They don't need to get aggressive. But Renegade doesn't know what it means to just stay still. He always wants to be holding forward, wants to get in the face of his enemies, and he sends them off the map. And now FaZe Clan take the lead.
That was a home run. How did he get that much speed on that? Incredible. How did he get the opening 2 kills? Where did he come from? Like a phantom. Well, this is the scary thing now, because FaZe have got that lead. And now the gameplay and the game plan that Native have, play it slow, wait for openings. Well, now they're going to come few and far between because FaZe have something to hold on to, and they can keep applying pressure.
Frosty with the triple in a beautiful position to clean up these kills, hitting a plat as the distraction from camo was FaZe's game plan there. Frosty with those 3 kills extends the lead to 6.
Yeah, you start to worry a little bit now for Native Gaming as the lead gets extended that little bit further. It's going to be harder for Native to get back into this one, and considering they didn't really do much with the sniper rifle, for the next one that comes up, you do worry if it goes into the hands of FaZe.
Good
what
trade.
could happen, but a great trade from Frosty, and actually all 4 dead on the side of FaZe, so Native just staying close enough here.
Tapping behind enemy lines right now. Is he going to get spotted? Because he is very far forward compared to his teammates right now. He hits a great grenade on the snakebite, but can't finish the kill, and that's his location being revealed. Frosty now on the hunt for Tapping. Tapping's going to get a shield back. Frosty kind of playing rope-a-dope around this scoreboard right now. Frosty eventually spots him and gets information that he's in tunnel. Snakebite back in the action. Can't quite finish the kill. He's going to push a grenade back into his face, forcing Tapping to fall back, but Tapping is distracting multiple members of FaZe here and playing his life. He's been spotted out once again. You got to wonder what's going on the rest of the game right now as Native have got to capitalize on Tapping's ability to stay alive and distract 2 members of FaZe.
Tapping button still alive somehow, some way. Isolated in that window for so long. Evaded 2 members of FaZe. Manages to get a kill along the way. Eventually gets taken down. 4 kills the difference now. And with Renegade with Snipe, he could really put some breathing space between these 2 teams. If he starts hitting some shots like we know he can, Native Gaming have got to be careful.
Yeah, Native Gaming need to avoid the sight lines, but Renegade keeps trying to reposition, keeps trying to find an angle. But at the same time, FaZe don't really need to do anything here. They have the lead and they have the time on their side. But you can see Frosty's been able to take down Barcode. Now this is when you start to make a move, but it looks like Native actually, they were the ones who tried to send something forward here, and it has not gone well for them.
Barcode couldn't get out of nest. He gets caught out. In the meantime, Renegade seems to have been lost in the chaos of all of what's going on at green. Still going to be inside house, still going to be a problem with this snipe. Where is Native Gaming on the map right now? Tapping did just drop down into the keyhole right now. As he's going to hit tunnel, Renegade's got to check his back. He does just that. The timing is perfect. The shot is even better. He knocks him to no shield, and now Tapping running for his life towards green.
It's always impressive, the in-game clock that these pro players have. Just knowing it's been a little bit too quiet to my left for too long now. I'm going to check it, and the timing is perfect. Renegade didn't need to fire that last shot, but I like the decision behind it anyway.
The sniper was going off anyway. Maybe he's worried. You never know. Someone just repulses in, repulses back up, and they get one bullet, no scope, game changes. You've always got to have the brain of a pro of what would I do in this scenario. 6-kill lead for FaZe Clan and 6 kills away from going 2-0 up here in this series. Tapping Buttons does have a camo though. Maybe this could be the opener for Native.
Yeah, you got to get trades if you're FaZe here because this game's getting closer and closer. It was 7 kills that separated the two as Renegade went down with the snipe off the map. Since then, it's been all Native Gaming. A perfect play for camo has gotten Tapping Buttons in this position. But what can you do with it is the next question.
It's running out of time. Trying to get close. Looking for information. He spotted Renegade. APG's going to start the fight, initiate, but unfortunately, Tapping gave up his position. Little mistakes, little errors like that will cost you games, will cost you series.
I feel like the camo just disappeared at the wrong time and sadly got spot out from behind. And that will just be the slight time difference and the speed of which he was able to get behind enemy lines there. And that might have just been Native's chance of getting back into this game, disappearing just as the camouflage did. 7-kill lead now for FaZe.
3 to go for FaZe. Renegade, Snakebite, has his eyes set on the prize bottom middle. Barcode's going to be no shield. And you got to think FaZe are going to try and collapse on this last player. He's cut. He's stuck. The game ends. FaZe will take a series lead 2-0.
They certainly will indeed. I gotta say, in terms of teamwork, I love the discipline that's coming across from FaZe, the patience as well. We're not seeing them rush into situations thinking, okay, we played Native 100 times, we beat Native 100 times. They are giving them respect, and they know it's because they really messed up in the last series. This is exactly what you want to see from FaZe, refreshed. Love it, absolutely love it. I will also say Native Gaming performing pretty well considering they are facing an absolute juggernaut in FaZe Clan as well. So I think in terms of the two, this is going to be really mixy to try and get back into this series for Native Gaming. I think mentally as well, it's going to be tough. I think when you go 2-0 up as a team, you're feeling yourself, you're vibing. You know that, hey, we're one away to get this done. If you're Native Gaming right now, Wes, what are you saying to each other? How are you trying to insert yourself back in, knowing we've got a very snowbally map here in Interference Strongholds?
Yeah, Steve, the thing is Native are making specific plays very well throughout these games. The issue is these lapses, these time periods where things get a little bit chaotic and they give up not just one death, but the next person overextends trying to capitalize on his teammate's damage and he goes down. And all of a sudden that snowball starts to create the difference in opportunity. That you have to consistently play great the entire game to beat a team like FaZe. These lapses cannot happen, and on a map like Interference Strongholds specifically, if those lapses happen, the score gets ugly quick.
Yeah, I want to touch on that because that has been Native Gaming's problem for a very long time. Even when Mikum was on the roster, when a problem happens or a mistake happens, you almost need to cut your losses. If you have a bad death, let it go. Don't chase up on it because you only compound your misery. And touching on what you said about FaZe Clan, them showing patience here. Yesterday I seen Renegade making some really weird and strange plays, being far too aggressive, particularly on, it was a play on Streets, I believe, where he pushed PD down no shields and he was really aggressive. And little plays like that when you're playing against teams who can punish you will really hurt. And it's a breath of fresh air to watch them play a little bit more patient.
It is, because it's the difference between running away with a map and actually letting a team back in. And I do feel like we see that more in Halo Infinite than any other iteration of the game. You cannot open that gate. You cannot unlock it for any team. You have to show respect. You have to be smart with your decision making. And we certainly weren't seeing that from FaZe, honestly, for the entirety of the weekend. We've seen great slays, great individual plays, great, I don't know, clips, montages, you name it. But the teamwork is where the dream works. And I'm sorry to be cringe, everyone, but it is very true. Gaskin, how are you feeling about the series right now? Are we seeing a 3-0 from FaZe? Is there any way of edging this, getting back into the series as we do begin the final third map, potentially for FaZe?
I think we're definitely trending that way. It almost feels like what we saw on the main stage just a short while ago when SSG just wanted to knuckle down, get this one sorted, and get to bed. FaZe want to get into Championship Sunday ASAP. By the way, speaking about big games that are also happening right now, on the C stream, Mindfreak are currently playing for their Halo World Championship spot, and I believe they have just won it, so they will be the 4th and final confirmed team from those LCQs alongside Ascend Baseline, Dark Inside, and Alpha Esports. So congratulations to all of those teams for making it to Worlds.
Good to hear a couple mouse and keyboarders are going to be on their way to the World Championship. I know Mindfreak has 2 of them, but back into the action, 32 and climbing. FaZe Clan have the lead, and it looks like they've started off interference the rest of the way with this series.
Native Gaming looking to make a tower push here, sending all 4 men down the zigzag and bottom tower. This could be a recipe for success. Frosty's going to drop down engine 1, play a little bit patient for now before trying to engage with tapping buttons. Will eventually get there, and the spawn from Snakebite's beneficial. 4 dead for Native. They're in trouble.
And the reason they got that spawn is because Frosty backed all the way up to the back of BR right there. And because he spawned Snakebite there, they're able to flush them out. They're able to force spawn them at B. And watch this. Wash, rinse, repeat. FaZe Clan know exactly how to play this game type when they have map control.
Yeah, this might be very similar to what we saw on the main stage, actually. The only difference is that a few points have been scored here by Native Gaming. And maybe FaZe Clan won't want to allow them to get any more. You've got to try and do something special here if you're Native. It's difficult to break out from this setup of A and B. Overshield is going to be the focus point for everyone on this map now, and maybe that's what Native need.
World 2, 7-1-0 to start this one off. Overshield's going to be coming up right now, so pay attention to the kill feed because it's going to matter big time on who can get this Overshield. It is going to be a 2-2 split for now, but Frosty going to play his life and patiently bait this Overshield as he knows the last few members of Native will be looking at it. Barcode actually gets caught in a lapse of concentration there. He's not able to access that Overshield, and Frosty gets away with it with his life, and now he's on the prowl for more.
He's on the hunt. There's a player down bottom tower with no shields. You know he wants to get in there. Royal 2 is also there to combine with him. Gilky's going to get a trade. A good trade for Gilky, but like you say, 4 dead. And they're going to continue to score here. And you know FaZe Clan are just waiting for that one opportunity to lock in that triple cap. And they could be saying goodnight and God bless to Native Gaming.
It's almost a similar situation of just a difference in class now between these two teams. One step too far for Native Gaming, and I think that's been evident over these last few events as the top 4 just seem to be that little bit further ahead of the chasing pack. But with Native getting to top 6, getting this experience again of playing these kind of games, it's something that they can build on going into Worlds so they can try and close that gap.
Royal 2, 11-1-2 right now. Tapping Button's going to lose his life. 3 go down once again for Native. The last player alive is going to be APG. He's spotted out, taken down to no shield. Renegade's going to get a little help, but he doesn't need it from Frosty. Renegade picks up just his 2nd kill, but his 8 assists to his name right now. FaZe are in complete control, and the game continuing to go in their favor. They do not have 2 of the Strongholds, however, so Renegade going to take his time here as he tries to get another round of slays before he can get over to B.
B is just such a difficult stronghold to get close to. You have to leave yourself so exposed to close over there. And you can see APG and Gilky are set up to make it difficult. Tapping buttons over towards long haul as well. APG is going to try and apply some pressure, put some damage down, but he gets put to the sword. Frosty will get a kill elsewhere as well. This triple cap, it's on the horizon. Barcode's got the overshield, so he can be an influence. He can try and stop this now. He's going to opt to play for B, recognizing his team are in a really tough position here. And he has got to try and delay and buy time for his teammates.
And we saw right on our screens how difficult it is to break a setup. Not only do you need to get a round of slays, but you almost need a 2nd set if you want to be able to capture and overturn the likes of B. And off the back of it, Native have been able to actually press around FaZe Clan, and now they will be the ones getting a temporary trip cap and move FaZe over towards C. So this game's not over yet. It was looking very one-sided, but Native with a nice passage of play here will be able to find themselves back into this game.
Yeah, hold the phone. All of a sudden, just 148-80, and Native continuing to score. So as bad as it looked at the start, Native Gaming starting to wake up, starting to make a couple of those plays we were referencing. Can they put it all together at once? Unfortunately, they're going to lose 2 players here. Snakebite wins a pivotal fight in the backup bunker. A, still in the control of Native, but that's not where Snakebite's focused on. He knows his teammates off respawn should be able to get A, so he's going to use this timing to go to B.
3 went down there on the side of Native Gaming, and they were still in control of 3 Strongholds. And again, it's just so tough to try and get the Strongholds off the back of the kills, and it's so difficult to cross over towards B. and still Native are scoring despite the frags that have gone in favor of FaZe Clan.
And you wonder if the decision from FaZe has to be different now. Stop throwing bodies at B. Let's attempt to get C instead, because B is so difficult, and every single time it seems to be one member of FaZe overextending to try and get it. The help just hasn't been there for him.
Yeah, you want to see them get a couple of kills before they can make their way over to B, and unfortunately, APG has been playing that back carbine area so perfectly to anchor that B position. He's denied any access that FaZe has tried to have in the recent attempts, but right now, the focus is on the C. APG's going to get taken down, and Gilkey can't make a play before Renegade's able to transfer this over for FaZe. A and C, a very untraditional hold here. As Respawners are going to come up, it's probably going to be back bunker for the likes of Native Gaming, so you got to move quick. Overshield was just taken by Snakebite, the last player alive, and with that Overshield, he makes his way to B finally.
And the thing about it is A and C is unorthodox, and it won't usually yield rewards for you consistently, but what it does do, it means Native Gaming can't sit pretty over on that carbine where we've seen APG sit. They are now forced to rotate. They can't sit in little holes and pick you off as you try and enter B, and it's perfectly done. Take C, distract them, and then eventually get to B.
Yeah, forces them into an uncomfortable scenario, and now they will be behind again. FaZe Clan have control of both A and B, and they are holding back Native Gaming at arm's length here. A will temporarily be actually contested here, but it looks like they've been able to deal with that first player. Gilkey takes the fight. And now Native Gaming have done very well to break, because FaZe haven't actually been able to get a comfortable setup ever since they lost it in the initial stages.
FaZe Clan almost at that 200-point threshold then. They're spawning over towards bunker. They're losing the basement hill, but they're going to capture A. What's the play now? Do they try and play for C? It's going to be Snakebite. APG back rafters. Long-time foes, once-upon-a-time teammates. They know each other's game all too well. Snakebite's double back now, back towards A. A lot of work to be done, but they still have A and B, but nobody able to get over and get the reset. Happy to bait it for now. Royal 2's gone down, as has Frosty. Snakebite gets APG, but at what cost?
Respawners over towards the carbine are able to finish off Snakebite here. Tapping buttons, the top mid control from Native has been strong, and that's why they're back in this game, 222 to 140. Native Gaming will start to make a deficit in this score, but the problem is one more mistake could be the last one of their tournament.
Royal 2 with 18 kills in the moment. Looking to try and be the difference maker to break over onto C. All four dead for Native Gaming. And now this will be the chance for FaZe Clan to get both C and B and spawn them over towards A, and then start to get that ideal setup, start to lock down these positions, lock down these spawns, and then put them on that spawn trap. Spawn them at A, spawn them at C, spawn them at A, spawn them at C, and maybe win this game and win this series.
Renegade playing so aggressive there with the overshield. Maybe thought the help was going to come a little bit quicker than it did. He throws his life away, but rewarded with many points on the board here. Frosty's down, but barcode and tapping buttons also, so Native Gaming's push is going to be very difficult here. Running out of time, running out of space, and Native Gaming's tournament is over. FaZe Clan do progress.
They certainly do indeed. Well, 3-0. FaZe Clan, a redemption for sure from them. Clean sweep, although Native with some fight in them. I gotta say that interference, I'm pretty actually impressed with that, to be perfectly honest. That could have easily been an absolute train wreck, something that we saw Spacestation do earlier, but Native denied that. I think they did a really good job at trying to bunker up, find each other on the spawns, trying not to get trapped out too much on those spawn cycles that really do get the better of you on interference often. I was really impressed. I think the teamwork's there for Native right now.
Yeah, I think they were playing well all day, which is why they made it as far as they did. A top 6 finish for Native Gaming is nothing to be shy of. Their best placing of the year, and what a time to do it right before the World Championship. What they need to solve is that ability to consistently be able to play great throughout the game. You saw moments where they could capitalize on, where they could get map control, where they could do these steps right that the best teams in the world do. But can you continuously do that throughout the game to punch your ticket to a game, to a win in a series? Against the big dogs, it's going to be so difficult. So a lot of tape for them to go back and watch before Worlds, but something to build on for sure.
Now, something that Wes talks about is Native playing in those moments, but other teams, particularly the top dogs, when they're not performing as they can, we've seen FaZe rely on superstardom rather than playing as a team, relying on Royal 2 or Frosty to hit those shots and really pull a game or pull a series over the line, relying on individual brilliance when teamwork isn't going well. So it is a problem that plagues a lot of teams. But when FaZe Clan are not on par and their teamwork's not working well, they have the same problems as anybody else. So Native Gaming have got to work out How do we navigate some of those difficult and tough moments in series and do it a little bit better next time?
Indeed. Winners side of things here on the championship bracket, folks. Optic Gaming versus Shopify Rebellion set in that winners final. We'll be seeing that tomorrow. On the other side, the elimination bracket, we have our semi-final set in stone. The first time these two will meet each other all season. Spacestation Gaming versus FaZe Clan. Honestly, cannot wait for that. There is so many questions that I think we all have this season. They're the only two that have taken a LAN win so far, and the only two to not have actually matched up. That is an incredible storyline, Gaskin.
Yeah, and it's going to be all 4 of the big 4 into the last 4 of this tournament as well. No real upsets. I know we've had upsets back and forth throughout the days, but we are going to have the biggest 4 teams competing on Championship Sunday, which is going to be very exciting indeed. To try and call it, though, you would be mad, right? To try and predict how this one's going to go, who is going to be taking the victory overall. If anyone at home can predict the exact results for tomorrow, including scorelines, I'll give you a tenner.
That means $10.
I'll say it in secret. I won't do it on camera, but I have an idea of what's going to happen. I think Optic Gaming will look primed to finally claim a championship. They've put themselves in the position finally to go against Shopify in the winners finals. You know what Shopify do on Sundays. That is an absolute collapse. And Optic Gaming will put themselves in an opportunity to have that series advantage in a grand finals for the first time this year. That would be something special for the Green Wall, especially right before Worlds. It almost feels like it's fate with Space Station and FaZe both having their successes so far throughout this year. It's Optic's turn.
Well, this is our AMD power play of today, and it's actually an entire series. It was Spacestation Gaming versus Optic Gaming. Came down to the absolute wire, a complete nail bite, and really just changed the entire state for Spacestation Gaming of their home major. This one small little mistake, one tiny play may not have gone their way, and it really has pushed things to the limit for this team. But if there's a team to maybe bounce back, it could be Spacestation Gaming. We have seen what they've managed to do with the second half of today. And Gaskin, it has been electric from SSG.
Yeah, I think the SSG went from the brink of being eliminated from this entire tournament at top 12 to now looking like a team who actually could go on to win this entire tournament with what we just saw on the main stage as well. It's going to be a brilliant Championship Sunday, and if SSG play anything like they just did on that main stage right now, we are in for one of the best Championship Sundays in quite some time.
We certainly could be. Let's take a look at the schedule coming your way tomorrow. What is in store for you folks at home and here at Salt Lake City? Coming up first, we got our elimination semi-final, Space Station versus FaZe Clan. Someone is going home, someone will continue on. After that, our winners finals, Optic versus Shopify Rebellion. And again, a really, really good tournament from Shopify Rebellion. And this, Wes, is one of their last chances to show us what they've got on a Sunday. Can they do it?
I think they have a chance. In Optic, it's what Optic shows up. Is it Friday's Optic or is it Saturday's Optic? So Saturday's Optic, and the way Formal was playing today, he is going to be extremely difficult to beat. Shopify have not proven to me that Championship Sunday is something that they can rise to the occasion of. I would love to see a team like Shopify figure out a way to win one of these majors and prove to the entire league that even the gods can bleed and even the doubters can be wrong. This is a massive moment for them to prove to themselves, especially before a world championship, that they have what it takes to win the whole thing.
I think some of my final thoughts of the day definitely kind of bodes onto Shopify. I am questioning how they're going to be coming into tomorrow. There were so many questions heading into this event, but I think the competition that they've met so far just hasn't been up to the Optic standard that we've seen from them today. So not only are they going to meet an Optic Gaming that had played so well today after such a difficult one on pool play, but they're going to meet an elevated version of that team tomorrow, because we all know what happens to FaZe, Space Station, and Optic Gaming on a Sunday, and they just meet an incredibly high ceiling, and it is so hard to match that. So I'm just wondering what Shopify really do have in the tank. What are they going to give us tomorrow? So lots of questions here. Shozi, I want to know what you're thinking heading into Championship Sunday.
Well, I'm really hoping that we see a different Rebellion on Championship Sunday. Both Optic and Rebellion, their roads to the winners finals have been totally different. You might criticize and say, well, Rebellion's run was a little bit easier, but for them, they can only beat the teams that they're put in front of. So they're not in charge of who they play, but they are in charge of who they beat. For them, I want to see them be competitive in the winners finals, and if for some reason they lose, the elimination finals, because they've been getting 3-0, 3-0'd. We need to see more fight from them.
Gaskin, thoughts heading into Sunday?
Please, Shopify, just give us one. One map. We have the privilege often to cast the winners finals, and to see Shopify 0-3, 0-3. I want to see the Shopify we've seen on Fridays, on Saturdays, because they've beaten teams like Optic Gaming when they've been in those previous rounds. But on Sunday, they just seem to fall short. But I feel like there's maybe something different at this event. With the amount of upsets we've had so far, if it's going to happen at any event, surely it'll be this one, right?
And lastly, you've been pretty correct so far, especially today. What are you thinking heading into Championship Sunday?
All right, I just want to excite everybody that's still watching. Our storylines going into tomorrow are wild. We have FaZe versus SSG for the first time this year. You would think it would have happened not until now, not until the elimination bracket at SLC. You know the SSG fans are going to be wild. In the winner's side, you have the Green Wall and Formal playing in championship form. Can Optic finally get a championship this year? Shopify, that game one in that winner's finals is everything to your championship Sunday. If you come out rocking, you will have an opportunity to win a major yourself. I mean, we got 4 teams left, and all 4 of them could pull this thing off. It's going to be so exciting. I couldn't be more stoked to get that series to get all of those series underway and see who really brings their A game.
Well, I couldn't have said it better myself. You wrapped it up perfectly, Clutch. Absolutely incredible. Well, I'll tell you what, the stories write themselves. The narrative is just unbelievable right now. I cannot predict what will be going down tomorrow, but I have one incredible bit of news for you. You will find out. Head to bed. We'll see you guys bright and early for Championship Sunday for more HCS SLC.
The HCS Spacestation Gaming Salt Lake City Major is presented by AMD and Player X.
So